All right. We are live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Hit and Run live tonight, late night edition. Tonight, we're going to be digging in, and I mean by we, Mr. Fearless Talks over there, and myself, Ronan Travelers. We're going to be talking about, the Minnesota Somali fraud narrative, the viral police clip everyone's talking about, and separating what's verified from what's going viral. Because there is a difference. If you're joining us live, do us a favor right now. Hit the like button. It helps push the conversation out so more people can hear it. And subscribe so that you don't miss future live breakouts or breakdowns, that is, of different situations. And we got a one immediately follow. This is going to be a double header now. We're doing Somalia right now. But the biggest, hottest thing right now going on is Venezuela. And a lot of people are saying, what is the motivation behind the Venezuela thing? And we're going to get into that after this live, but we're going to get into the Somalia thing. So we're not here for rumors. We're here to show receipts, and let's get into it. Fearless, how you doing? I know you got some opinions on what's going on with these Somalis up in Minnesota. So let's get into it.
I figure if you can go from famine to fraud, you done made a step in the right direction, ain't you? They was over there living in famine and hijacking oil ships to saying, shoot, we hijacking daycares and PPP loans. So wow. It's crazy the things that have happened the way it happens. But I really want to dab into it, man, because I think that we have overlooked a lot of stuff, and the American people just feel angry. They're mad. Are they mad for the right reasons?
Yeah, they mad. You don't think they mad for right reasons here?
And we talk about, and one thing I think a lot of them are mad about, especially in the African-American community. A lot of them come here and say, oh, yeah, I'm a minority and I'm black when it's convenient.
When it's convenient.
And then when you ask them if they black, they're like, no, I'm not black. They black when they need that PPP loan or a minority loan. They're not black when you're saying, hey, you're an American black. So when anything happens to that minority group and people say, you ain't black, then it's, when something happens, then it's always, oh, it's racism. They try to come back to the community and say, they discriminating against us. They doing us wrong. And I think at this time, the minorities are saying, nah, you on your own, man. You ain't even let us in your daycare.
Oh, definitely. I mean, they're from the Hispanics, unfortunately, to these immigrants from Africa and now the Somalis. They're all looking at FBA or Black Americans that have been here saying, hey, how come you ain't out here raising the roof for us?
Exactly.
Because y'all never raised the roof for us. Y'all laid back in the cut and were silent because y'all thought y'all were supposed to be part of the YT people because you didn't think you were us. You never thought you were us. Now you're getting your wake-up call. Now all of a sudden you want to be unified. You want to work together. The communities are separated for a reason. Y'all did that. We didn't cause y'all to go and live in one little community and do your own little thing. And matter of fact, I understand why the communities are separated now, because they've been running game and keeping it to themselves on how to rape and pillage the American government for every penny they got. Good Lord Almighty. And this has been going on for over a decade, bro. I've been digging. This has been going on for a while.
I'm not mad at him, brother. I'm not mad at him. And here's why. Today I was watching a dude, Orlando Minor. He does real estate. He has a YouTube channel. And he was talking about the guys on there, they got another scam going about how you can get some free money and get things with Best Buy and all this that they doing. Now, when we do the crime, and we find another scam, another glitch in the system, the guys was calling it, we go straight to YouTube, straight to TikTok, and we make a TikTok saying, see, look at all the stuff I just bought. Look at all the receipts. I scammed the system. I make a rap song about how I done scammed. I'm a scammer. I didn't use shimmies and stuff like that, fake credit cards. I put the whole system out, on YouTube in a song or whatever. These Somalians,
and other nations, because it ain't just Somalians that are gaming, it's Nigerians and so on. So
yeah, but I'm saying what they did was
themselves. Yeah,
they kept that quiet. They had the whole. There was a gentleman who went up to Minnesota, and he just was in the neighborhood. He just wanted to walk and things. The whole mall, 90%, 95% Somali. Uh, Everywhere you went, there were nightclubs and bars that just shut down because the community no longer supported it. You know, like if you have a bar that was, hey, I have hip hop music, whatever that music was,
Mhm.
nobody's coming there because it's all there. But what they were able to do was transform a whole neighborhood into Somalia. They got their food, they got their places to shop, they got their storefronts, their banks, and all. Even look, the reason you can set up the scam is because everything is intermingled.
Mhm.
Hey, I'm gonna open this daycare and I'm gonna put my fake people in it. You open this and you put your fake people, and you open this store and you put your fake people. And we doing
Mm.
it so much, and we kept it in the community. See what happens with us is, and we're gonna talk about how bad it is. I am not in no way endorsing what they're doing, but what I am endorsing is how good they do it. It's how good they do it. Because the first thing that happens is when I get some money, I don't want to tell nobody how I got it. And somebody else is going to try to say something. Somebody else going to be like, see what he doing? I'm doing this. I was listening, and this, I don't want to bring this up. This, I'm sorry.
Why not?
I was not listening. Somebody sent this to me from a show that I was on maybe a year ago. And the
Mm.
person on the show said, I don't like you. I don't listen to you. I don't, all these things that they didn't like. And this is what
Mhm.
they said after that. I seen your car, y'all seen your convertible. I looked your resume up. I know where you
I
work
already
at.
know who
I
you
know where
talking
you
about.
live.
I know who you
And
talking
I'm
about.
thinking, for you not to like somebody,
You
you
doing
sure
a
know
hell
a
of a
lot
lot of
about it.
investigating. Yeah.
Yes. So when we do something, it's how can I tear you down? The Somalis, they said we're gonna keep quiet. We gonna keep this a secret. We're gonna keep this money, and we're gonna keep building it. So how can just
Mhm.
think in the community? How many? They said about 1 billion because it was millions. How much money did they say that they had frauded over the years?
9 point something billion.
Billion.
And
Good
that's wait, wait,
man.
wait, 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 wait. That's just in Minnesota. Now, the more you dig, it's Ohio, it's all over the country, it's child support, it's this thing, the other thing. I mean, there is a evolving story going on with how many scams and fraud the government has paid out to these immigrants over the years, and I mean years, not just now. It just we just figured it out. No, no, they've been doing this.
Mhm. And it's but this is the problem. And this is why I think the pendulum always swings.
Mhm.
And now, because a few people or more than a few people or those minorities have done something, now the pendulum is swinging where it's like nothing is coming to you. Everybody's going to be investigated. You think you're on welfare? You think that, oh man. Now the people who didn't do anything, they getting gone. They getting ghost. But I wanted, well, one thing I know you're going to show some of this.
Yeah.
Did you see how and all I'm talking about now, I'm not talking about the good. I just want to show you how they came together. When the press came out there to their daycares, the leaning center with the learning center, it
Yeah, the
wasn't
learning
spelled
center.
correctly. When the
Mhm.
press came out there, they ain't let them in, wouldn't let them in the building.
Yeah, I got that queued up. I
Yep.
got one, the one kid that started it all, the YouTube investigator, Nick.
Mhm.
I have his video to start it off, but we're gonna go through this in chronological order if we can.
Go ahead, brother.
But
I'm gonna sit back.
we're gonna do the
Okay.
Nick thing to start the video off to show you what inflamed and got this conversation going. It wasn't just about the policeman saying, "Hey, Somali first" type of situation. It started
Mhm.
off showing that all these Somalis all of a sudden had all these wealthy looking cars. They owned homes. They were like, "Where the hell are these people coming from? From famine, like you said, to being filthy rich?
Well,
What
said
are they
80.
doing?"
Well, one person said they did it. They said of the people that came over here, 80% of them are still on welfare. And what they would do is this. They can't officially marry more than one wife. But what they would unofficially do is have their 4 wives. Their 4 wives would be collecting welfare.
It's different because
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Finish your statement.
Those 4 wives would be going into like their work, so that they would all be getting with that earned income credit and all those things, getting it back.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like they just had the system on lock. And the sad thing is, I don't know when we're gonna learn. We continue to repeat, whether it's the Venezuelans who was getting free hotels, 5 cots in a hot, whatever they call it, free food, free clothes. We give that to them. Then we take another minority group and we just give them stuff and let them ride the wave. At no point, and with the American people, we just say, you on your own. Strap up your bootstraps, man. Yeah. That's why they laugh at us. They laugh like, sucker, you a sucker. You really gonna work that hard?
And the money trail goes back to not only, unfortunately, because some Somalis, most of the Somalis are Muslim, some of it goes back to terrorism. And a lot of it goes over to Africa, to Kenya, where they're building homes and whole apartment buildings with federal money. I love the trolls in my chat. Y'all bombing the hell out of the FBA or special and Muppets and all that. That's great. Keep it going. I love the attention. Believe me.
They said that they were bringing, from the airport, man, like transporting millions of dollars.
Yeah. Suitcases full. Yeah.
Suitcases full of money.
That's insane. But this is the reason why we say certain immigrants should not be allowed to be in politics. They shouldn't be around and authorized to safeguard American safety, because they're not thinking of anybody but their own nation. They came here for a purpose. And I'm sorry, they are part of, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a fucking duck.
Yeah.
You come from a pirated warlord type of country, that's what you're going to do when you get here. You're going to figure out a way to scam and take care of the system to where you can game it and pilfer it just like a pirate and send it wherever you want to do.
One of them said something like that. They said that Muslims, I'm not Muslim, so please forgive me.
I'm not going to say all Muslims. This specific,
but it was saying that in the Quran, it was saying if you do that to the infidels, you okay. So they don't even look at it as we doing something bad. It's these are the infidels, and if the infidels let us take control of them, that's what we're going to do, and that's what they're doing. But go ahead, let's comment on this. I'm sorry, that's our intro, people.
All right, we're going to get into the first video. He started it all and got a lot of attention in Minnesota, going through the records. These are public records, and basically he went to verify them. So let's listen in.
It's different because, according to the state of Minnesota, this 312 West Lake Street houses not 1, not 2, but 3 child care centers and is licensed to hold 102 children. And in fiscal year 2025 was paid $2.66 million by the state of.
Listen, 2025, what? $2.66 million. In 1 year between these 3 years.
Why? For what reason? I got to know why. How are they getting paid though? That's what I didn't understand.
They're saying there's 102 children that are between those 3 daycares, and I guess because they're on public assistance or they're getting some kind of a service assistance through the federal government, they are given a stipend for childcare.
But I thought the people sent in vouchers or something. So they got the fake vouchers and everything you saying.
Goodness. They got vouchers. They got everything, man. They know how to game the system. They look like they need the assistance, but they really don't. And then some daycares are supported by federal monies in order to stay open to support the people that work. So they're actually pulling money that way too.
Minnesota.
And this is the building right here. So this building alone made $2.6 million. Let's see if anybody's inside. Now we're inside of the building where there's apparently 4 childcare centers. We met this lady and we followed her to the back of the building where the daycare was supposedly at. So right here we have 2 child daycare centers. We have the Minnesota Child Care Center, and then we also have Nuna. Between the two,
Across from each other.
2.66 million.
You think they're worried about competition? They working together. What the fuck? They don't care. They got 2 different names. They still all part of the same ring.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Why are you recording?
Yes. We would like to know.
Well, it says we're trying to figure out 102 children. Is that for this facility?
What is the name? Why is it?
It's from the state of Minnesota website. It says you have 102 children here in your child care.
Which child care name is a lot of
Minnesota Child Care right here. It's from the state of Minnesota's website. We're just wondering where the children are.
Where the children are?
Yeah, where are the children? It says you have 102 children here,
Okay.
and you got $2.66 million this year in funding, and $2.5 million last year. We're just wondering where the kids are.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley.
Nick Shirley.
And where you? Which department? That is harassment.
Oh, we are from ourselves.
Yeah.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going. Look at that. Shut us down.
I'm
Where
just
are the
thinking-
children at? No children
All right, I'm gonna
inside of
tell you
this daycare center. And
Hold
look,
on. Go ahead.
Just in general, I have not 30, 60, 90. I gotta think. How can you even have a daycare with 102 children in it? I'm trying to look. Average.
Well, it's between the 4 daycare centers, I believe. I don't think it's one specific one, but that's still quite a few kids for it to be that quiet when they open the door. And then towards the end of this clip, you'll see them walk by a whole nother daycare center and it's flipping empty. And they're open. It's operating hours.
And I'm looking online where the federal government has the maximum number of people. So with 102, like for 8 children, you need at least 1 adult for 4 kids. So the most you could have is 20 kids, and that's a 1-to-10 ratio. So that would be 10. You'd need like 13 workers just to have that. And I know that that didn't even have 13 workers. I'm just saying that even the number itself just seems suspicious.
Yeah.
In the words of Dr. Umar, isn't that suspicious?
That is suspicious. Let's go ahead and finish this clip, and then I'm going to show you a dated 10-year ago broadcast that this was going on back then.
this daycare center right here, no children inside of this daycare center.
Man.
No children. It's supposed to be 102. You should hear some kids playing or something in there.
Now I'm going to play devil's advocate. Is it an after school special? Is it like an after school program?
No,
Is that
this
why the
is
kids aren't
operating
there?
hours. This is operating hours. So there should be kids in there. All right, now here's the whistleblower from way back.
In my home state of Minnesota, where we've got a number of daycare providers that are openly violating federal and state laws and regulations, taking money for personal use, using the money to set up a fraudulent child care client, and then providing a kickback has been reported. This is a major issue. There are allegations that, well, not just several, you've got 23 child care or daycare centers either closed or under investigation. The fraud may go as high as $100 million. Now think about that. In fiscal year 2018, Minnesota received $120 million in federal funding. The state contributed about $50 million in matching and maintenance funds, and we may have a fraud case of nearly $100 million in this state, with money then being transferred out of the country via MSP Airport. This is a big issue in my home state of Minnesota. Can you share with me what your agency is doing to investigate this? And I'm just wondering if we could not come up with some form of stricter enforcement to monitor the states that are receiving these funds to make certain that there's some sort of oversight here. Thank you for your testimony today.
Now, when he yield back, listen.
My home state of Minnesota.
Here, basically all she said was thank you. Whoever was part of the lead person was like, oh, thank you. And that was it. There was no like, oh yeah, we need to, second a motion to start an investigation on these different fraud cases. No big deal.
Because when you're part of, no, I wouldn't say part of, when that's your constituents and you worried about their vote, of course you're not going to say nothing. You can't bring that out. That's the people you vote for. That's your community. That's your district. You
Right.
can't let that be known.
This building right behind.
So of course, but that's a shame
So-
that even back then we knew about it and nothing
Right.
is done.
Right.
But and I'm gonna say this though.
Hey, you can
gonna
tell
say-
this bothers people, and these are Indians. I don't know if they're from India or they're Somali, but it seems to me that once we get done with the Somalis, maybe the Indian or India people
Mhm.
might want to be looked at too, because you guys are sure sitting here saying a whole bunch of stuff that has nothing to do with your race or your ethnic identity. These are Somalis, but yet and still you represent India and you're saying these things. So it sounds like, kick dog hollers. We might be getting close to maybe having to look at you guys too. And that's
Yes.
okay. If you're gaming our system, like I told you, FBAs, we don't care if you come in, take advantage of the systems that we work so hard for you guys to have access to. We don't want you to speak for us, and we definitely don't want you stealing from us. Get your hands out our pockets. We're the ones paying tax dollars, and you sitting here trying to steal it from us, you damn straight we're going to say some shit. And no, we're not going to help you.
But what
Go ahead.
country can we go to and game the system like that?
None.
I mean,
That's why
I'm thinking as
here.
a foreigner, I can't go any place and get something free. Like for instance, Brazil, and they say, oh, you Americans are so bad. Brazil has it. If you want to visit, you have to show you have so much money in the bank. You have to show you have a return ticket. You can't just show up somewhere and say, oh, I'm taking advantage of the system. Imagine me as an American going over to Colombia saying, well, I'm a minority and as American and I need these free grants. Wouldn't happen. Couldn't happen.
No way.
I don't even think I knew some Venezuelans when I was in Colombia, and they were saying that, they like the medical system and getting any type of medical treatment or anything like that. The government didn't give it to them. It wasn't like, oh, they gave them a handout. The government was like, no, we do not give that to them.
Right.
You are not a citizen of here, and we take care of our citizens first. Why don't we do that in America? I just want to know. Why don't we? I mean, when it even comes to IT,
We're so giving. We're the home of the free, the land of the brave. We came over here and started a whole nation by breaking free of the bondage of whatever religious things that English held to everybody else that was practicing whatever religion they were practicing. So it started off that way. So then why not open our doors to the masses? But understand this. Y'all weren't legally allowed to come in here as freely as you are now. So while you sitting here trying to insult FBAs, you're welcome, because you wouldn't have been here if we didn't fight for y'all to be here. First off. Second off, if we rode the short bus, then
don't worry.
why are you coming over here? Why are you coming over here to get our education, to get our dollars? Go fix your own nation. But that's all right. I'm not going to keep on responding to this. We're going to go ahead and play this. Here's further evidence after Nick Shirley started doing his investigation. Now the news stations get in on it, and they go around to all these other buildings that have Somali ownership that say that they are in operation, collecting money.
This building right behind me has 22 different home and community-based healthcare companies registered in the building. It's only 4 floors. I walked in there yesterday trying to find a number of them. Many of them are they appear to be just window fronts, door fronts, with nobody behind. So same story, different location. We're here in St. Paul at this building, which looks like a warehouse or a dilapidated old building. Inside this building, there are 60 registered home and community health care organizations inside this one building. We're here in Northeast Minneapolis, and we're at a building that I believe is on the radar of authorities. They have questions about it. A lot of the businesses in here are home health care businesses. Of the total businesses, there's 37. 17 of them are home health care businesses. There's just layer upon layer upon layer of fraud throughout this city, Jessica. As for whether Governor Walz is going to testify before the Oversight Committee, that remains to be seen. We asked him at his office if he was going to testify, and we have yet to.
What I'm curious about is who taught them these scams? I mean, it's like, I just, like, I've never gone to a country and be like, well, the system does this. I can set up a business here. I can do this. Somebody, somewhere. It's easy when it's just one person. And I don't know if it's spread like wildfire, but who taught them how to scam?
What you mean? Who taught them?
You come to a place and man, I can set up 60 medical places at this address.
Mm-hmm.
That's not just one person doing it. That's like a conspiracy. One person says, man, I can set this up. How did the other 59 know we can do the same thing and get the same money? Well, I can understand how the other 59 knew. How does the first one know? How did the first one know, hey guys, this is what we can do to get some money?
That's an interesting question. I don't know. Maybe some politicians might have helped them out and point them in the right direction.
Because
maybe we should look at that. Maybe we should talk about this person specifically.
Because it just wasn't one. It was like, oh, it's almost like
recent personal net.
Oh yeah, that woman there. But it's almost like, hey, daycare. That's what we could do. Oh, hey, healthcare. That's what we can do. And they all ran to those same sections. But go ahead and let Omar speak.
Well, this is her trying to defend herself against Donald Trump in an interview. And then I'm going to play the other one after that.
He's always been a racist, a bigot, a xenophobic, and Islamophobic. We know that he called African nations a shithole in his first administration. We know that when he came down that escalator, he said he was going to stop Muslim immigration into this country. And so it is not surprising that he is going after Black immigrants.
Hold up.
Black immigrants.
Yeah, no, wait. She picks the right. I told you. Now, y'all know I pay attention to wording and phrasing and why they use certain words during certain times. Instead of saying Somali American, which she's so proud of, she says Black American to be inclusive of everybody else, including Somalis who don't claim to be Black, by the way. They'll never say that they're Black. They're Somali.
They Black when they want to be.
In this country, and it's certainly not surprising.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead and let her play.
That he's choosing a Black immigrant community that is also Muslim. But what I would like to say is that most of us are citizens. On our passport, it says we are nationals of this country. We love that Minnesota has welcomed us. Many of us have not been settled in Minnesota. We chose it as a home because the Minnesota people,
we choose it as a home base because they can make money off of it.
And very welcoming. And we are going to be here regardless of what the president has to say.
I don't know about that, lady. You tooting your horn a little too fast now. You said you're going to be here regardless of what the president has to say. What about the whole nation says something? That's in addition to what the president is saying. Go ahead.
Here's my problem. If you consider yourself an American now, and you're an American,
recent personal net.
And you pay these taxes as an American, you should be just as pissed off that your tax dollars are getting used inappropriately, no matter who it is.
Exactly.
I'm Black. But if somebody is like, man, I'm using them PPP loans and I'm making all this, that's not gonna make me happy. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, with the black people. No, you did wrong. You did wrong. It almost seems as though she's unable. She's unable to point the finger at her own people.
Of course they aren't. Oh, wait a minute. I got some delusional ass Somalis that I got video on later. So this is just the basis of the argument. You know, I don't know if you heard about this viral video where this one Somali was on a live, literally, or on a clip, a reel, saying, "Hey, you Americans go work for me. You know, go make me my money so we can get paid." He was literally downing the American people for working hard so that he can scam them later on the background through the system.
Increase in personal net worth. You know, we've heard from a number of people who are terribly curious about this, and you might be as well. According to the Congresswoman's most recent 2024 financial disclosure form, the 43-year-old Democrats' combined household wealth has gone up an astonishing 3,500%, and that's since the end of 2023.
Hold up.
Well,
Nancy Pelosi. Wait. Were we not talking about Nancy Pelosi the other day? So we're not indiscriminate. You're doing some fucked up shit. We're going to talk about you. What was Nancy Pelosi's husband's turnaround, and what was his percentage of gain?
It was like 16, almost 17,000%, man. 17,000.
Look at what she's doing. Yeah, it's crazy. This is crazy.
Alone. That means her current fortune is something in the neighborhood of $30 million. And stop for a second and really drink that in.
Man, it's breaking up a little bit. Go. I didn't hear that. It's really breaking up.
He said it is in the market, and I'm going to back it up here a little bit. 30 million net worth.
She went from what to nothing.
And wait a minute, he's going to follow the money. Her husband started this business, has opened up this firm, and it jumped from nothing, no money, to almost $5 to $20 million in assets.
He's a genius, man.
A genius.
That means her current fortune is something in the neighborhood of $30 million. And stop for a second and really drink that in. Now we'll take a closer look at how Omar claims she came about all that hard-earned cash. And for starters, she's pinning the blame on her own husband. Yeah, throw that poor slob under the bus. Former political consultant turned venture capitalist Tim Minette claiming that he's had a good...
It sounds broken up.
It sounds like... I mean, I'm playing it, so it sounds clear to me. We'd have to wait for the chat to say something like it's garbled, but I had popping in my headset the other day when we did a live, but it came out clear. So, are you there? Did we lose you, bro? Yep, we lost him. Hold on, he's back.
I don't know what's going on, brother, but I'm here. Go ahead. I just know. I think when she found out she was making that $30 million, I tried to find a way to get off here and make it myself. I'm trying to run for Congress.
Right. Sure. There you go. But listen to this guy's story. This guy came from nothing, really. He didn't really have a lot of money when he married her.
On a luck lately with a couple of his enterprises. And just how good, you might ask. Try this one on for size. In just 1 year, Omar says the value of Minette's venture capital firm skyrocketed from under $1,000 with no income at all to suddenly having a net worth of up to $25 million, even though the firm had zero reported income. I know what you're thinking. Tell me more.
Wait a minute. Let's make sense of this. Your assets accumulate to $25 million, but you have zero reported income? How do you work that out? Where did you have the offset of $25 million against $25 million so you can show a zero net sum gain?
What kind of contracts are you getting?
What
man?
kind of hocus pocus tax reporting is this?
Yeah, we found out more. Additionally, she says that during the same time frame, her husband's California winery magically saw its value soar from $50,000 to nearly $5 million.
Hold up, bro. Did you hear what he said?
We in the wrong business, man.
$50,000 $100,000 net worth for a winery that's net sum game is $5 million now.
We're in a wrong
Man,
business.
if I had that kind of foresight, brother, my goodness. Wow.
And basically overnight. Now, if that doesn't make you raise an eyebrow, check this out. Omar makes less than $175,000 a year for her role as a congresswoman, a government job. And when she first entered Congress back in 2018, she reported a negative net worth.
Look at who you put in the office now. Y'all need to pay attention. Y'all putting these broke people in, giving them instant access to money. And we know, Fearless, you can tell me, most people that aren't used to having money, once they get it, they do all kind of stupid, crazy shit with it. They don't know how to manage it. They don't know how to do a lot of things. I mean, hell, she came in with a plan. Hey, I'm going to get into Congress. I'm going to access, investment opportunities and everything else. I'm going to put my husband on like Nancy does. And I'm going to have him go and do all my investments. And we're going to come out of this mother rich. You hear me?
Including substantial student loan and car payments as well. And by the way, this isn't the first time that people have been questioning the financial activities of the congresswoman and her husband. In 2019, Omar widely panned for forking over $3 million in campaign money to her husband's former consultancy group as part of the 2020 election cycle. And mind you, this transfer took place before the two were even married. In the meantime, the lawmaker who's ratcheting up efforts to kick Omar out of Congress entirely, now doubling down and pushing for a full-scale investigation into whether or not the congresswoman ever actually committed or covered up any type of alleged fraud at all. Furthermore, Florida Republican Randy Fine claims there's a pervasive culture of immigration, Medicaid, and welfare fraud running through Minnesota.
Hold up. He said what? Medication,
immigration,
Medicare, welfare fraud. That's a powerful combination. Welfare fraud, and that is on a national scale now. It's not just the state of Minnesota. They're finding out from Boston all the way over to California. Y'all little, I'm not going to say the word, but bruh, yeah, your time is ticking and it's falling short. The sands in the hourglass is almost over. Not only for Somalis, but some of you other ones. And hey, I can tell right now, maybe Indians from India need to be looked at next. Because I can tell you right now, in Philippines and other countries, they have set up telephone systems to scam people in America all day, every day, right along to Nigerians. So y'all keep on making your presence known. And believe me, eventually you're going to be found out. Karma will come around to you, bro. I'm telling you. Let me finish this guy off real quick.
Entire Somali community. That Omar is basically their kind of ringleader, and that turns out she lied in any way she should be.
Remember? Ringleader. We said, how are they finding out about all these programs? How are they figuring out access to these programs? And I'm going to show you that Minnesota specifically has so many Somalis within the governmental structure, from city council all the way up. So when you have people guard dog on your illegal activities and aren't whistleblowing it, makes it a hell of a lot easier to conquer a whole city and take advantage of the government and all the policies and all the monies that are available.
To a country of birth along with everyone else. It's what you call Randy.
That's it for him. But go ahead. I'm going to queue up the next video.
No, they in this sense, they smart. They knew how the politics work, and they came in. What we don't do, we don't go to school meetings. We don't go, we always think, oh, the president. This is what we say. Voting don't mean nothing. Voting doesn't matter. Who cares? You don't change nothing. And what they did is said, we're going to come in at the grassroots. We're going to become, what's that? City officials, city council, school board. Then they get to what? Mayor, senators, Congress people. I mean, they had the whole system tied up.
Yeah, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. I'm
the whole system tied up.
I can only load 5 videos at a time, so I'm going to load those while I try to play one on a shared screen.
But it's I mean, it's genius. They are just gaming the system. And it's nobody said anything. And even though we're doing it now,
I'm not going to believe this.
yeah, I'm going to believe it. You best believe I'm going to believe it.
Okay, remember that learning center or the Leering system center that was supposedly under investigation for, you know, child care fraud and all this other stuff? There's a nice little coffee tea shop in front of it. Well, maybe it was in front of it, or maybe it was part of it, but watch this video.
This little restaurant.
You saw the name, right?
Quality Leaning Center.
Leaning, yeah. They don't know how to spell it either, but they're intelligent. That one says Learning Center. They actually got it right.
Okay, they got it right.
Learning and child care. Okay. But when they made the sign in the back, they weren't paying attention. They just wanted to sign up. But here we go. See that little gray door back
look
there?
familiar?
Little gray door back here. Pay attention to that as the film goes along.
I ain't trying to say they look alike, but is that Omar? Oh yeah, that's her.
Here on Nicollet Avenue, in front of Quality Learning Center, there was a
Okay, that's the Quality Learning Center now on the side of the building, right? The coffee shop is in the front of the building. How are they getting kids in and out around a business like that? You know, on a janky ass entryway. That
It's
ain't no
easy
door
when you don't have kids. I mean,
I'm gonna finish this video real quick.
spelling in the word learning was missing the N, and that has since been updated. As you can see, they got a new sign.
There's a coffee shop up front.
Hold up. So what they're saying is it's basically just a coffee shop.
The coffee shop collecting for child care. Maybe. You know what I mean?
You're not going to believe
So
this.
she doesn't know anything about it. She's innocent.
And that's where
But
she
you
worked
looking for
at?
a ringleader. No, that's where she just went to visit. She's promoted. You know, she's met people there for business arrangements. But yet and still, you don't know the jankiness that's going on in that same building with the child care in the back side that used to be on the front side entryway. You a senator. What you mean? You don't know. You sure know about investments. You know how to advise your husband to make 300 and some percent or 3,500% of your net gain gross. But you don't know what's going on in a simple coffee shop on the back door? Come on now.
Ignorance is bliss.
I don't think that's ignorance. I think that's just straight up denial and lying. But again, these are my opinions. We'll wait for the court system and everybody else to figure it out. And believe you me, they will. Let's see. We're going to do this one. You want to know where some of your money's going?
Oh man. I know where it's not going, in my pocket, as they say.
Ish, Somali people, you must tell us where you're getting this money. Oh, I was in Isli. I went to Isli for a business meeting with a client at the BBS Mall, guys. And the beautiful high-rise apartments under construction I saw in Isli. People have money in Isli. Somali people, please tell us the secret. After finishing my business meeting with the client from the BBS Mall, I decided to take a walk around Isli. And I can tell you, every street in Isli right now has more than 10.
This is Kenya, by the way. They didn't go back to Somalia and try to fix their country up. They went to a whole nother country in Africa, Kenya, and they're building these huge apartment buildings for housing people. You would think that would be a benefit to Somalis in Somalia, but no, they go to Kenya and do it.
Again, they vacate. Because they figure, man, I got 100,000. I can live large in a place and still go back to Africa. Can still live large.
So not on 100,000. You got 100 millions.
Yeah.
Millions, not thousands.
Yeah.
They have taken millions. They're setting up buildings for millions so that they can retire later.
Y'all better learn something from these Somali. Y'all here buying tenant. Look, y'all doing y'all PPP loans and y'all getting breast implants and BBLs and buying these cars. And the Somalis is buying, you know, what they say, guns and butter.
Yeah.
They buying apartment buildings.
Yeah.
10 buildings under construction. You will see these buildings covered with nets and under construction and not yet complete, or at least recently completed. High-rise apartments, I'm talking about high-rise apartments. That is apartments with 10 floors and above. I mean, every street. And remember, Isli has 12 streets. First street, second street, all the way to 12. And every street has like 10 high-rise apartments under construction or recently finished construction. I mean, guys, I decided to take a walk around Isli so I can show you this, man. Somali people have money. These people have money. I don't know what they do, how they do it. I think they're trying to make Isli a city of its own in Nairobi, man. If you come to Isli directly without going through Nairobi CBD, man, you may think this is Nairobi, man. You may think this is the CBD, guys. Like, just this street alone, you can see over 5 buildings, high-rise, covered with nets, meaning under construction. Look, there's one here, there's this one here, there's another one there, that is 5. And it's this, all these streets all over Isli have at least 6, 7, 8, or even 10 buildings, high-rise buildings under construction, man. Isli, man, you have to tell us where you are getting this money, Somali people. What? And one thing I've realized, guys, if you want to do mjengo construction or your fundi or stuff like that, go to Isli. Utawai kosa kazi. You will always get a job because there's building every corner under construction. Where?
I will say this, man. They came here with a plan. They came with a plan.
They did.
This is what we're gonna do. And I think as African Americans, blacks in this country, and even whites, there's no plan. When you ask somebody what you're gonna do next year, it's the same. There's promises of what they're gonna do. Is this what they're gonna do? Not here. It's coming in with a plan.
First things first,
and seeing the final outcome. We have no idea about that. I can understand if you worked hard. I don't really see anybody. Is there any way you can look up Omar's background? Like, what did she do? So she had student debt. So somehow she went to school.
Right.
But what did she do?
I don't think she did much of anything before she was, in Congress. I don't know how she got uplifted, but again, she has a community behind her. She has Somali leadership within the government, that helped prop her up. Maybe I'll have to go back and research her rise to governmental prominence. But yeah, it's ridiculous. Let's listen to this very prideful Somali American woman saying that Donald Trump needs to thank them for being here in the United States.
I'm actually so shocked that Trump is attacking us. I think Trump should be thanking us in multiple ways, and I'm going to explain. First things first, I think we are a good example of what the American dream can look like. Like, Somali Americans, and it's making me sad and it's funny. Like, I know Somali people are very funny. We're like the class clan who also happens to be valedictorian. Somalis in Minnesota are so successful. I take multiple trips a year to Minnesota and I leave so inspired. You have Somali-owned law firms, Somali-owned pharmacies, Somali-owned everything you can think of, and it's so inspiring to see that what my community could do in just 30 years. Literally, we came to this country not speaking English, not knowing anything. We're Black, Muslim, we're immigrant, and we're able to be that successful. It should be really applauded. Like, I need Trump to stand up and applaud for us because it's shocking. Literally, my friend just moved to Minnesota and she was telling me how when she gave birth, it was an all Somali staff. Her midwife was Somali. Her doctors were Somali. Her nurses were Somali. Like, that is so beautiful to see, and it should be celebrated, okay? Second of all, Trump, you should be thanking my people for giving a random Midwestern state that much clout and money. Like, I don't think, other than Chicago, I think Minnesota is really popping when it comes to tourism because of Somali Americans like me, okay? So you should be thanking us because Minnesota would have been nothing if Somalis didn't move there. Like, if we're being honest, like, we have made
Really?
that state pop, and we have made
Wow.
it beautiful for the rest of the world. So you should thank us, and if you want, you can donate Minnesota to the great country of Somalia. Like, I think it's a nice trade-off. And last but not least, I'm so happy that people are discovering how funny, witty Somali people are. We're very confident. And although Trump said what he had to say, like, I want him to know, Yani, like, it didn't even, like, bother. Like, it didn't do anything to our confidence. We've heard everything you've said before. People always make fun of Somalia, da-da-da. But I still think I'm better than everyone. Like, God has made me Somali Muhammad. Like, I'm okay. I'm okay. On top of that, I'm Somali American, broski. Like, I'm winning on both sides. But yeah, it's just nice to see that everyone's realizing Somali people are very funny, very confident. And that's never going to change. It has not changed since colonial days, baby boy. And it's not going to change because somebody right now decided to make fun of us. We're actually winning the war, so. But yeah, that's all I have to say.
Wait a minute. Hold up.
I don't know what war that was.
Winning a war?
Yeah, I don't know what war, but I'm looking
What
at the
war is
Minnesota data right now. She said that, you know, Trump should be happy and Minnesota should be happy that the Somalians came. Now, this is from 2014 to 2023. They found that 27% of the Somali households received welfare of some sort, Social Security, welfare, much higher than the 6% of native households. So that means they're using more resources than the regular people there, and high rates of 50% using food stamps and nearly 75% using Medicare. So also said that with one report indicating this is the immigrants, 81% of the Somali households that were immigrants used some type of welfare, food stamps, Medicaid, cash, compared to 21% of the native households. So tell me, if you're using 4 times as much of the services, what are they thanking them for? What should they be happy for you doing? Taking the resource, not only taking the resources from welfare and stuff, but also stealing from the government and the state because of the fraud that you're doing. I don't know. Look, it becomes sad when they can't look back and say, you know what, we wrong. There's some people who did wrong. They see it nothing like that. Nothing like that. And she made it a flex. No, this is what I will say. She made it a flex. She basically said, Negroes and white people, we do not need you. We are self-sufficient with our money. What she say? Her midwife was the midwife was Somalian, and these people were Somalian. That person was Somalian. It's like we don't even need you. Oh yeah, man, I'm from here, and look, I'm gonna tell you this.
Yeah, buddy, we on to your state next.
Oh, man, when I came back, you know, when you're gone from someplace from so long, and you go to a neighborhood that you're like, oh, that's what this was, and you're like, wow, the demographics have like changed. It's not even. It's
not the same anymore.
Yeah, it's
You're not in Kansas no more, there, Dorothy.
Man, I was not in Kansas anymore. But go ahead, let my brother speak.
All right, this is your home state, Columbus, Ohio.
It's a daycare center owned by Somalians and stuff like that.
Have you ever seen any kids in this place here?
No, not that I know of. I just seen it, the building itself. I've never seen nobody come out the building or go in the building.
You've never seen anybody over there?
No, not at all.
So right now we are in front of the Great Minds Learning Academy. This is one of the many daycare centers, learning centers here in Columbus.
Hey, why have to reinvent the wheel? Let's just move over to the next state and do the same fucking shit. Why do you have to reinvent the wheel? It worked over there. It's going to work over here. Good Lord Almighty.
Columbus, Ohio, that are associated with the Somali community. As you know, Nick Shirley put out a bombshell report about all these fraudulent daycare facilities in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So we wanted to come out to Columbus, Ohio and investigate what might be going on in the second largest Somali community in the United States of America.
See, they already got a foothold. Second largest Somali community. Damn, bro, they taking over your town.
Bro, I can't be mad at it.
Wow. I guess you didn't want to go back there, so they went ahead and took took your spot.
Man, and I knew from a long time ago, man, that we wasn't liked. When I was maybe in the 10th grade, there was a group of Ethiopians that had moved in, all sisters. There was a recreation park, and I remember them coming there, and beautiful, man. You know, they were very attractive. And I lived, in a majority black neighborhood. Brother tried to talk to him, man. Look, nope, not even one word. White guy talked to him, in love. And they had told me they don't like brothers. And that was the first time I was like, this was way before any internet or anything like that. I was like, but y'all black people and you don't like brothers? That's confusing to me. They not
Me no black, me Somali, me Ethiopian.
And they come there to use the resources. And just imagine that place across the street, they never interact. They never going to talk to them. Nothing like that. Are you ready about to switch to this next one? We got some more for this one.
So this place here is the first place we're going to knock, and we're going to see if anybody picks up or answers the door. Let's see. So it's locked. We're ringing the doorbell here. Knocking on the door. Nobody's picking up, so we're not sure what the hell's going on here, but we're gonna get out of here. Now there's somebody over there. How you doing, sir? I'm sure you see the reports over the weekend about all the daycare centers in Minnesota. We just wanted to see what was going on. Did you know anything about this place here?
It's a daycare center owned by Somalians and stuff like that.
Do you ever see any kids there?
No, because they use the back door, so I won't know if they is.
They use the back door.
Yeah, I never seen nobody come in it, but they use the back door.
But have you ever seen any kid? You live around here?
Yeah, on this building right here.
Oh, you're in this building?
Yeah.
You're in this building too? Hey, let me ask you, have you ever seen any kids in this place here?
No, not that I know of. They use the back, so I've never seen nobody come out the front.
You've never seen anybody over there?
No, not at all.
I just seen it, the building itself. I've never seen nobody come out the building or go in the building.
So we came to the back, just like those guys suggested, and there's nothing here. You know, we can keep poking around, but there's so many of these centers to go to. We're just getting started. So we're gonna go around the city. We're gonna go to a few more of these places. We're gonna see if we can get anybody to talk to us. Stay tuned.
Man, they got a system. One person is different. Two people is like something. When you got three or more, that's a conspiracy. So they've come here and said, hey, this is how you do it. This is how you game the system. The one thing I can say is they know how to come together. They know how to come together and do it right. We don't. But I hope it gets put a stop to it. Just seems ridiculous. You all right over there, Ronan? You good, brother?
I got a woman out there trying to buy tires for this truck, bro. And she just sent me some videos and pictures trying to get me to look. I have not looked, but I'm looking now. I'm like, oh Lord Jesus. Hey, she's paying for it, so I'm gonna shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? But it's not exactly what I was looking for. But hey, you paying for it? I ain't saying nothing.
Yeah, I can't say nothing.
I ain't saying nothing. So, but yeah, man. I mean, this is it's insane. And I have another lady that has been doing, Melanie King. She has been going through everything that's going on. And now she's getting into the child care and the Medicare thing. And that's on a national scale from the interview. So I'm recommending you guys go over and take a look at Melanie King. If I don't get to it, she's actually already covering it. You guys can hate all you want, but karma comes around, man. You can't keep on stealing from people in a country and think it's okay. We love to have foreigners, and hell, this is a melting pot. Hell, I'm Creole. I'm a fucking melting pot myself in my own heritage. The one thing I don't do is steal from my country. The one thing I don't do is disrespect or disloyal to my country, even if I'm in the fucking Philippines.
But here's what you
So
said.
you come into this country not adopting to the country, but still being an individual Somali from Somalia. You're looking to take advantage and rape and pillage versus take advantage, enhance, and leave it better than what you found it. Y'all not doing anything better for the overall United States. You're doing stuff better for yourselves.
What you just said is your country. They don't consider this to them. That's not their country, man. They don't like that. They're like, this. We just here until we get back to Kenya. Until we get to our high rise in Kenya. This is just a layover.
Right.
So
and the reason I switch screens is because we're about to change subjects. We going into what's going on in Venezuela. But before we do that,
oh man, I didn't bring that.
Play your infomercial. Man, you should have been pulling up your infomercial. Come on, man. Come on, you got to play your own UGCs. We ain't getting credit for nothing up in here. We can barely get a super chat. We might as well sell our own stuff.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm sorry, brother. I done flip the ball, drop the ball. That's it.
But anyway, there's a lot of discussion going on right now in Venezuela. It's a hot topic. It's a constantly evolving subject and what's going on, legal justification and everything else. But while you're pulling that up, I'm going to change the comments in the chat. My first question, and of course, I got a whole bunch of trolls up in here, is viral clips trigger investigations before verification? Should they? And there was an overwhelming, 57% said no, 43% said yes. But at the same time, at the end of the day, I got a lot of trolls in here from India, or maybe they're Somali pretending to be Indian because they don't want to be caught as Somalis up in here. You never know with them. They want to try to lie. Salute to Style King, who just walked in the room. I don't know why you're not a mod, but I'm about to make you one. And take care of these trolls, bro. You know, if you got time to stay. But anyway, I see you just pulled up something here. Let me go ahead.
That's our load up. That's the breakdown. So that'll make our conversion when we go to the next one. So whenever you're ready to make that change.
Remove this source, and then I'm going to go ahead and play your video, and then we'll jump into the new conversation with Somalia.
No, with Venezuela.
Let me be clear. If you don't have this shirt yet, you're already behind. This isn't just a tee, it's fearless energy. Black, white, red, and yes, I kept the pink for the beautiful ladies. Holidays are coming. Show up fearless, or don't show up at all. Link's right there.
Man,
so a lot of y'all didn't show up at all because y'all didn't have y'all fearless shirt. So I wouldn't have went to the party if I didn't have my fearless shirt on. I know that's right. You'd have got kicked out.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on in Somalia. I mean, not Somalia now. We're off of that topic. We're on to Venezuela. What's your opinion? Because I know you did it earlier live, and I want you to go ahead and do the intro on this part, and then we'll pull up video clips and have a discussion. But I know you already had some prepared, so go ahead, Fearless.
No, there's some things I'll talk about. So maybe it's been a little bit longer now. The United States conducted warfare. I know. I'm going to take that back. I'm sorry. They did not conduct warfare. They went to Venezuela in the midst of the night, and they kidnapped, arrested, whatever word you'd like to use, the sitting president of Venezuela, and brought him back to the United States to serve for an indictment that they said that he had in New York. So we have a lot of questions that we want to cover and go through with this. One, was this legal? So what we've done is, the reason we were able to do this, or our statement for doing it, is there was a warrant issued for him for drug trafficking. And what makes us able to do it was when 9/11 happened, we passed a law that said we can go anywhere for terrorism. So for terrorism, we can go to other countries, try them for terrorism, or capture them and bring them back to the United States for trial. So we invented this term called narco-terrorism. Now, in order to do terrorism, there's certain definitions. And even to do narco-terrorism, it means you had to have some influence or something on your politician. But when you are the politician, that doesn't really help you out, because how can you perform it when you are the government? So Venezuela's government called this an illegal aggression and insisted Maduro, no matter what has happened, is still a legitimate president, which I can't agree with. I know that we say that he was not elected, that there was somebody else elected. But if we're using that standard to go in and take a country over, then why aren't we taking over North Korea? Why aren't we taking over Russia? Because Putin has been in power for a long time. And we say that his dissidents, or people who run against him, always seem to end up either in jail or dead. But what we've told the American people is we have invaded Venezuela because he was a drug lord, and that they were sending drugs to the United States. That is our reason for going in. That was the legal way for going in. But I will say that that has nothing to do with it. And we tried to circumvent the law. Under international law, military force in other countries without the UN security approval or self-defense is illegal. You cannot go to another country and just say, I'm going to kidnap somebody because we don't like politics. Oh, I didn't know if I was still going that. I'm sorry. We can't go to other countries just because we don't like their politics. Another reason I would say is this. If we think that President Trump thinks drugs are so bad coming from the country, in December of 2025, which is less than a month ago, he pardoned the ex-president of, I think, Nicaragua, Jose Fernandez, who was tried and convicted and sentenced to over 40 years in the United States prison for shipping over 400 tons of cocaine to the United States. Now, in that instance...
Now, wait a minute. Wait. Let's give him a little detail on who this dude was. He wasn't just a drug lord and a cartel member. He's the ex-president of Honduras. So you're talking about a man that was a president, a key figure in a whole country, went from being the presidential leader of a nation to being a kingpin drug lord. Not shipping heavyweight, tons. He's shipping weight.
But the problem is, we say that, Trump said that Biden set him up. And that's why he was in jail, even though he...
But what I'm saying is, if it's one leader that could do it, let's say that maybe there is a thing about this leader in
Maduro is a drug lord. He came up.
That's confirmed.
Oh yeah, he came up with.
I got video. I'm just saying.
Hugo Chavez, and they were doing conjecture. But let me give you some explanation. I'm not saying it's correct, but let me explain why. Before that, Venezuela was a rich country. I mean, when you talk to people that come to Venezuela, they don't even, you know why they don't like to work? Because the government gave them everything, because they was making so much money in oil. They just didn't want to give it to the United States. They were giving discounts to a lot of the Latin American countries, because what they would say to Cuba is, hey, we're going to give you the fuel at such a discount. We would rather you invest in medicine and infrastructure. We were giving it to DR and all of the Latin countries because we're giving it cheap. When the United States wanted it, they said, man, we don't have to give it to you. So what did the United States do? They set up an embargo. And through that embargo, they said, yeah, you can't ship it nowhere. You can't sell it anywhere. We're going to stop all of that. And when they set up the embargo, the whole system went down. So what they kept saying is, oh, Chavez and them dropped the system. No, that's not what happened. Just like when it came to Cuba, we set up an embargo and then we say how bad it is. No, we set up the embargo and their whole system went to shit because all of their resources that they have were dependent upon oil. and we shut that down. And then we say what bad leadership they had. Now, they started doing some selling drugs. But if you came after them for being drug dealers, only about 10 to 15% of the drugs come from Venezuela. It comes up through Colombia. 10% get to Venezuela. The other 100% come through Mexico. But we ain't arresting nobody in Mexico. But what they do have, well, let me go back a little bit before we get there. First, was it legal? We say it's legal because we say it wasn't a war. We say that this was a criminal act and we had to bring him up on criminal charges. But legal scholars are saying, this is a sitting president. Our thing is, well, the people are happy. How many times and how many lessons have we learned that have said, when you take a dictator, you leave an empty, you leave an empty vessel.
Yeah.
And when you do that, it becomes more corrupt, more violent, more bankrupt. Have we not learned our lesson? We did that to Saddam Hussein, Muammar Gaddafi. We did it in Somalia. We did it in Africa. We did it in Yemen. We've done all of that. And we leave a vacuum. We did it in Afghanistan. And look what happens. We said we went there. I'm going to keep repeating this. We went there for the drugs. If you believe that, guys, then you still believe that we went to Iran or Iraq because they had weapons of mass destruction that we never found. We never found those. So if you keep believing that somehow we went to Venezuela for drugs, why haven't we gone to China? Aren't they giving us fentanyl? Why haven't we gone to other places? Because it's not about that. And I want to say it's about the oil, but it's more than that. But let's talk about the oil. We have increased our oil output, but we do the fine oil, the fracking oil. The oil that we really need is the dark crude oil. And you know who has the number one crude oil deposits in the entire
Number
world?
one is Venezuela with over 300 billion gallons available. They have more oil than OPEC.
And they just
Think about that.
And so what if it was about the drugs? The first thing that Trump said was, we got the oil. He said that we're going to stay there, get the oil out, and get the Venezuelan people go. And then we got to, what we got to do is we got to reimburse our people from going over there and getting the oil. We got to reimburse ourselves now. So I want you guys to think Africa has more resources than diamonds, gold, copper, zinc, all the little things that you put in your cell phone to make them go, the chips that we do for AI, all of those raw materials are in Africa. Why is Africa poor?
Right.
So you're telling me that Venezuela has all of this crude oil reserves, and we're going to give it back to them?
Right.
We're going to take the resources and give it to them?
Now, if you listen to the president's reports, and we're going to get into this, I got plenty of videos to play to set this up. All right.
And if I can give you
on this quick example right here on the crude oil, because you brought that up, over 303 billion barrels available. Now look at the exports. Why is it offset that Saudi Arabia is exporting the most globally than Venezuela because of other things that are going on in that government, other embargoes that are going on that have been long-standing embargoes. They don't have the right resources to develop the crude oil into gasoline to sell on a national scale. So what do you think the foothold is, and what did the president open his mouth to say? We can revive the crude oil business down in Venezuela. We're going to let our companies go down there and put billions of dollars in investment. Once we do that, do you think they're going to freaking leave until they get their money back 10, 100-fold? Absolutely not. They're not leaving. So that's a lie. And you can't believe that it's the truth. Why would you let companies invest that much money in another country and you think they're going to pull out once they establish and revive that business? Hell no. But go ahead.
I'm putting a few things in here, and I want you to play them, and we're going to.
All right. I got the one that you got up right now. So
well, give me 1 second before you get there.
And I got other ones too, but I just wanted to bring up this chart just so you guys can see. And I got another chart too that gives it a better representation. Image. And this is on a just a better picture. This is on a global scale. Looking at a global map. That big old dot down here, that's all Venezuela down here in South America.
Yes, it is.
Look at the Saudi Arabian areas, and no other place globally has as much. And what a coup de grace on Trump to use drugs as a assist in order to have access to what? 303 billion barrels of oil.
I threw three things in there for you. If you could start one, I don't know if are you able to see what they're called?
There's only one at a time. I guess you can only load one at a time. So the one that's up right now is the one that's available.
What does it say?
It's the one with the police in the front. I'll just show it to you.
Yeah, go ahead and play that.
Tonight, the former president of Honduras, serving time in a U.S. prison, walking free after a pardon from President Donald Trump over the weekend. Juan Orlando Hernandez was serving a 45-year federal prison sentence after being convicted on drugs and weapons smuggling charges just last year. Word reaching his wife and adult children at their home in the country's capital.
Juan Orlando volverá, volverá.
On Truth Social, Mr. Trump saying Hernandez was treated very harshly and unfairly. On Sunday, defending the decision aboard Air Force One.
Well, I was told, I was asked by Honduras, many of the people of Honduras, they said it was a Biden setup. I don't mean Biden. Look, Biden didn't know he was alive, but it was the people that surround the Resolute desk, surround Biden when he was there, which was about very little time.
Now, if it was about drugs, why would you let a drug dealer go? That's number one.
Right.
Number two, through my research, I found that what really happened is the new president of Honduras is great friends of Donald Trump. That great friend said, look, man, y'all got my man locked up in there. You know, he put me in here. You know, he scratched my back. I need you to go ahead and take care of this for me. You can't have my man locked up like that. And so if it was all about drugs, why would you let that person go? You pardoned him. He was found guilty. Now, y'all may think, oh man, this is new.
I wouldn't call
this is new, but prior to all of this, there was someone who predicted this. Before there was Maduro, there was there was Chavez. I translated this into English for you guys. And I just want you to hear what Chavez said years ago. And I wonder if it came true.
I'm going to play this one, and then I'm going to play one that I had translated from the president of Argentina being interviewed a year prior. But I'm going to play yours first.
All right, mine is years ago.
Is the possibility of war there? So?
But you don't see the threat that the United States empire poses to us.
Why do you think the United States wants to attack Venezuela?
Well, there's the recent history. I'll tell you the most important reason. Right here is the largest oil reserve on this planet. Here in Venezuela, we have oil. For more than 100 years, the United States has been running out of oil. The main reason the United States wants to install a government here that's subordinate to the empire like they had for a long time, is Venezuelan oil.
I want to ask you a question, and I hope it doesn't bother you. Are you paranoid about the United States?
No, not at all. I'm just a realist. If you could ask that question, you just ask me to them, though you can't because most of them are dead. Ask that question to Jacobo Arbenz, who was president of Guatemala. When I was being born, you hadn't been born yet. Just because he wanted to carry out an agrarian reform, the United States invaded and overthrew him. You could ask that question to João Goulart, the Brazilian. He was overthrown by the United States. You could ask that question to Salvador Allende, the martyred president. You could ask that question to Juan Bosch, the former Dominican president, overthrown by the United States invasion. You could ask that question to my General Omar Torrijos, assassinated by the CIA. And many more. Isn't that paranoid? It's the truth. I am fulfilling the responsibility of a head of state. The paranoid ones are others, the far right, the crazed ones who believe the world will never change, the piti-Yankee bourgeoisies of this continent who insist on imposing their will at all costs. They want to keep dominating these peoples, but they won't be able to do it. Only after September 11th did the United States start making a list of terrorists.
Listen.
Well, and I'm also on that list. The United States, the US government, dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima, an atomic bomb and another on Nagasaki. That is terrorism.
See, what they did was they start calling terrorists. And when you could put somebody on the terrorist list, then you can go in and take their country. You can do whatever you want to them because now you've called him a terrorist. He died in 2013. So that's over 10 years ago. He could predict what was coming. He knew what was coming. United States running out of oil. We need oil. We need to control the area. You're not being our puppet. And so because of that, we have to do some other things. This shows you what they do. And I know that we like to say that everything was about, go ahead and play that if you want. Everything was about the people getting upset or not feeling happy. That's not the case, man. You know, they always show the Venezuelans in the United States celebrating. I'll play this. I thought you was gone. So this is how they really feel.
Let me play this one real quick.
Go ahead, brother.
And this is another translated one. And like I said, this is just about a year ago. This man predicted or said, and he's an Argentinian council person or president. I'm sorry. I had this one translated also into English because he was speaking straight up Spanish. So listen to the conversation he's having and why he considers this a liberation, because I think you were even saying, Fearless, your wife was actually excited that this situation had happened. So, and I have a lot of videos of people celebrating and partying, and then you have some people that are saying revolution against the Americans doing what they're doing. So there's a split opinion on what's going on here and whether it's a positive or a negative. And then we're going to get into the legalities of whether this was even right or wrong, or whether we could have done it without UN sanctions or the Hague. All these things come into play. Geneva Convention, all those things. But let's play this video real quick.
I wouldn't call it an invasion. I would call it liberation. The Maduro regime, let's say, is Latin America today what Cuba, Castroism was in the 70s. Basically, 21st century socialism tries to establish communism through democratic means, but due to the dynamics of these regimes, they end up in totalitarian situations. In the case of Maduro, he is a dictator and is linked to drug trafficking and moreover has contaminated the continent with spies, with subversive acts, and who have, let's say, worked against governments with signs different from 21st century socialism. That's why countries aligned with 21st century socialism, which are financed by these murderous narco-terrorists, do not want to condemn him afterward. I agree that the United States should move forward, and if they need my support, they will have it. Why? Because it is a dictatorial narco-terrorist regime that has infected the entire continent, injecting money to create problems in all those governments that do not respond to 21st century socialism. Clear as day.
What kind of support could Argentina provide?
If they require me.
Have they asked you for anything so far?
Not yet, but I am willing to help, let's say. I am willing to fight for freedom around the world.
How could that support be provided? Troops, resources?
Let's say we will evaluate it when they make the requests. If we can respond to them, we will do it.
Maduro says that all this is a plan by the United States to take over the country.
I don't care at all what a lying narco-terrorist murderer like Maduro says.
Boom. All right, I'm going to take him down and then put your video up. But what do you have to say? I mean, you got Argentina saying the same thing. Like, yo, that would be a liberation move. That wouldn't necessarily be a whole takeover move. And he would support it. So you got another country a year prior saying these things.
When your money comes to the United States, you don't talk, you go with what they say.
Hell with it.
Pause your video.
All together, we are going to go out and defend the home.
So this is a Venezuelan, after the attack, how they feel.
Right.
Sure it's run properly. We're going to rebuild the oil infrastructure.
The hell with it. Where is it? All together, we are going to go out and defend the homeland because this homeland is ours. This homeland belongs to our future generations. This homeland belongs to our children, and it deserves that we give and offer our lives for it because Venezuela is ours. Venezuela deserves respect. Stay alert, communities, because they're not coming for us. They're coming for the oil, and they're coming for you too. Understand this, what they want here is oil to continue their war. Understand that what they want here is our land so they can keep fueling wars. They are not a peacekeeping army. The time of the land is the time of hardship, and here we are, compatriots, defending the land. This land is ours. Long live Venezuela.
I got another video like that with a woman that's speaking to a huge crowd that's doing the same thing, talking the same message. So I want to go ahead and play that one. Let me find it. Go ahead. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
No, I can hear you. You said you was playing something, right?
Yeah, hold on. I just found it.
Vivir en nuestra patria, con nuestro presidente, con los hombres y las mujeres que amamos este país. Déjanos en paz. Queremos paz. Tú nos quieres llevar a la guerra, nosotros queremos paz. Pero ya estamos en la calle, dispuestos a dar nuestra vida si es necesario para defender a la patria a nuestro presidente Nicolás Maduro. ¡Que viva Maduro! ¡Que viva!
Go ahead. I'm doing something real quick. I'm telling Pooh Man to change the setting.
No problem. Yeah, so here's the thing. Was it about drugs? I don't think so. Was it about oil? I don't think so.
You don't?
Oh.
What do you think it is about?
Oh, my brother.
Oh, here we go.
No, what I'm gonna do is instead of me. And here's the thing. I thought at one time it was about oil. It's like, yeah, it has to be about oil. That's the only thing that makes sense. And
You mean they're not happy for a reason? Look at this happy young man. For free. Oh, God.
Mi gente libre, libre. Agarraron a Maduro, se fueron ya. ¡Qué felicidad! ¡Dios, gracias! Voy a ir para Los Roques, voy a ir para Margarita, voy a ir para mi tierra bella, Dios mío, Venezuela, coño. ¡Te amo, te amo, te amo! Gracias, Dios. Gracias, Señor. Mi gente. Dios mío, no sé ni cómo explicarle ni qué decirle. Pero el régimen de Maduro se fue. Tío Donald Trump. Gracias, tío. Gracias, tío. Viva Venezuela, coño. Viva Venezuela, hermano. Sí.
Wow.
Adiós, Maduro. Adiós, chavita. Adiós. Váyanse a la mierda.
I wonder when Donald Trump says, well, we gave you asylum. You got asylum because
it's coming.
Maduro was bad and everything was bad over there. Maduro's not there. Now take your ass home. I wonder how much cheering he gonna be running in the street when all that money that the Venezuelans that were working here was sending home, when now they back home. And there's no government. There's no welfare system. Because it don't matter what Trump said. You're not getting that oil out tomorrow. You're not getting it out in a month. Man, those things, refineries come in. You know how long it takes to set up a refinery and go in and then pump the oil and get, that's like years. We were in Afghanistan and Iraq for like 2 decades. They just don't know this. Whenever you pour the dictator out, and we can say the dictators are bad, whenever you get rid of those dictators, you create the volume. You don't have anything. There's nothing there. There's no government system. What about the people in the government? You got government hospitals. Who's paying them? Who sets up the system now? You got the police. What happened when Russia failed? When all those things failed, all of a sudden a whole bunch of war things went missing, nuclear warheads, because people didn't have nothing to eat. They didn't have no food. And when that happens, you're going to do whatever you want. I put up a post. I said, man, the passport bros is waiting to go over to Venezuela. It's poor. It's not like something is going to go there. And the government that is there now was the puppets of Maduro anyway. It's just coming right in. Now, what I said was, it's not about the drugs. Let's dictate this. We can deduct and say it couldn't have been about the drugs because Donald Trump let out a drug dealer that was sending in 400 tons of cocaine. Pardon him. Is it about the oil? Well, we do want to go there and get the oil, but that's not immediate. He'll probably be gone after that. So what was it about? Then I listened to this former CIA person, and man, what he said, it made sense. And then it made me start thinking, oh, this is bigger than Venezuela was just a
guy with the glasses.
Talk to me about Venezuela. So China is the thing that I'm very sad anytime people get distracted because while I would love to hold hands and march into the future with China as an ally, but we not decouple, but we get realistic about not letting anyone control certain aspects of our way of life. Certainly not somebody who has proven that they will very rapidly become an adversary. What is Venezuela all about? How does China figure into this, and what should we do?
I believe Venezuela is a red herring. I believe that all of the Venezuela talk and the Venezuela focus is not actually the focus.
Now, I want you to know this was, I think, 2 weeks or a week prior to the invasion. This was no invasion at this point. This is just him predicting what would happen prior to that being an invasion. And he's an ex-CIA operative.
Focus of the president, not actually the focus of the Department of War, as it's now called. I believe that that is all a red herring that's being given to us as a pill that we'll accept because we all kind of agree Venezuela's, we don't know anything about it. That's what we all really believe. We don't know anything about Venezuela except Maduro bad.
I want you to see how history repeats itself. We can't get the truth. They piss on us and tell us it's raining. We can't get the truth. Maduro, drugs, bad. Saddam Hussein killed his people, weapons of mass destruction, bad. Whatever they can sell us on, and Rumsfeld said it, just tell the people what they want to hear. You had, they're like, Osama bin Laden is in Afghanistan. Why are we going to Iraq? Tell them it's weapons of mass destruction. What's the famous line? There's known knowns, there's unknown knowns.
And unknown knowns that are known.
Yeah, things we don't know that we don't know. And can you believe somebody said that? There's just things we don't know that we don't know. There's unknown unknowns. And he fed us that and we believed it. The vice president had just died. What's his name that was under Bush? We all know who I'm talking about. He had Heidelberg or whatever food place he had that made billions of dollars because they set up over there. Dick Cheney. We had Dick Cheney. So they tell us what we want to hear. And so in order to go to a country, we got to paint it as bad. And so how do we don't just do that in one day. Maduro bad, Venezuela bad. The Venezuelans had to leave Venezuela, come over here and look at all the bad things they're doing. They're poor. They can't help it. He's destroyed the country. Oh my gosh. Look at that fishing boat out there. It's a small fishing boat, but that fishing boat that can only go 80 miles on a tank of gas, it's supposed to go 320 miles to the United States and drop off drugs and come back 600 miles on an 80 tank of gas. But we blow up a fishing boat. Because if you tell the American people what they want to hear, they believe it.
And we all hate drugs. So if you can
speak for yourself, Andrew Bustamante. No,
so if you can,
I'm kidding.
If you can affiliate Venezuela with drugs, then boom, yeah, of course we're against it. Rah, rah, rah. Let's blow up boats and let's show American power off the coast of our own country. Now, why do I believe that that's a big red herring? When you look at the actual evidence, the objective realities of the claims that are being made, we're fighting a drug war against narco-terrorism or narco-terrorists, right? The term narco-terrorist has an actual definition, right? And that definition for a terrorist has to be the use of violence to gain a political change.
Now listen, the only way we can call somebody a narco-terrorist is that narco-terrorist has to use violence to get a political change. That's not what Maduro was. He didn't use, he was already the president. He didn't use violence. The political change, he was already the person in charge. We will change and shift any definition and change it any way we want to get the outcome we want, to make it legal for what we're going to do. Because legally, as the military, we couldn't go in there.
No, but let's talk about legalities real quick.
Mm-hmm.
There's three things that we talked about real quick earlier on the introduction was The Hague, UN, Geneva Convention, actually 4. And then there's one other one that we never mentioned. Did you know there was a Noriega precedence? It was established during the Noriega, during the Panama thing.
Oh, yeah.
There's a Noriega precedence that states that if there's a certain issue with a country where they are dealing with drugs and causing terrorism and endangerment of their people or other countries, and America started this precedent, by the way, obviously, we have the right to go in as a police force in order to obtain the people that are actually causing it.
Oh, no, that's what he's talking about. We turned it narco-terrorism.
Right. So that's what it's called. It's actually a term for it. It's called the Noriega precedence.
Yeah.
And
So
it was
what we
started
do
on
is, and he explains it. I think I had cut it off where he didn't do it in this one, but you have the CIA and you have the military. So that's why when they say, oh, this was a CIA thing, because on certain titles, the president can say, oh, this is not a military action. This is a criminal action that we back criminals up to because they are narco-terrorists. So we can go into another country and arrest them. That's an American thing. Hold up. This is an American thing. This is something America put in. Ain't
right. But here's the thing.
No other country can come to the United States and do that.
The Noriega precedence does not give them carte blanche. So the Noriega precedent says we can go in and do certain things without it being an act of war, but it is going to be reviewed by the UN Council and everybody else to see if it was legitimate before it becomes something of a violation. So we have the right to go in.
No. Wait, let me tell you something. Say the right. Who gave us the right?
Right. Let me say this, being a Marine. Do you know the Marine Corps on the president's whim? Any president, just the president, sitting president, the Marine Corps can go anywhere in the world and go into their country for 29 days without it being an act of war. On the 30th day, we have to pull out, wait 2 days, and we can go right the fuck back in for another 29 fucking days. That's the rule that we teeter on as a Marine.
But what I'm asking you
he can go into, listen, he can go in any country with the Marine Corps alone and just say, I need to secure this area because of what's going on. And he can do it for 29 days without it being considered an act of war.
What I'm saying is, I'm going to get a little graphic here. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, you can get as graphic as you want.
I just put the head in, and it's not sex. It's a rule that I made up. I made that up. And that's what I'm sticking to.
Right.
As long as I don't pump, it's not sex. Who made that rule up? It's what I'm when you say what you're saying, it's just a made-up rule the United States came up with to just circumvent their own constitution. It's not like real. Like when you say, oh, we went there for 29 days because 30 days is a month, and a month in it's just some made-up shit. So the United States just wrote their own law because the law they wrote wasn't through the UN. It wasn't like China said, well, we can go into Taiwan, do what we want for 29 days, but as long as we don't stay there 30, it's not war. We okay. Russia can't say we're going to go to Ukraine and take over this place for 29 days, step across the line for 1 day, come back for 20, and it's not war. We just doing something. We made some shit up just out of whole cloth and just said that that's legal. The same way that we turned waterboarding into it's not.
I get what you're saying, and because of the American status when it comes to the military, the projection of us being the global police department, even though that should be the UN's thing, maybe we get a little levity in the way we move with the UN, but we are being watched. Believe you me. And some
to do what?
Wait. The president is saying certain things on TV about reviving the oil, and that has nothing to do with your initial intent. And then controlling the government and then turning over at a post date when we know that they can release the government back to the people and know that it's going to run reliably. Who are you to make that judgment? See, there's certain things he's saying and the verbiage he's using when he gets on these news anchors that are really violations, the way he's saying it. But if he's held true to why he went in under the Noriega president or the Noriega presidents, then he could stay within some grounds of authoritarian, like his authority of doing it. Now, when he starts talking about doing regime or controlling governments and reviving the oil rights and having our companies going without any kind of bids towards the government of having the rights to go and do it, and processing crude oil and all these other things, that's when you start to overstep your authority, and it gets real dangerous when it comes to the international law. Let's put it that way.
What I'm saying is we call it whatever we want. And because we call it whatever we want, we can do whatever we want. We say, oh, man, we just name it. But let this gentleman go a little bit longer, and he kind of puts a whole bunch of spin on why we did it, which makes me really think it really wasn't even about the oil.
That is what's required of a terrorist. They must use violent, lethal attacks in an effort to force political change. Narco-terrorists would just be drug-funded or drug-related terrorists. That's the definition that's out there for everybody to look up. Well, the cartels aren't doing that. The cartels aren't using violence, particularly not violence against the United States, to change politics. That's where the argument comes from recently, that they're trying to say, oh no, Maduro weaponized cocaine. He weaponized cocaine specifically to attack Americans. Even if that was the case, what's the political change that he's trying to drive?
See how we changed the definition? And that's what he's saying. He didn't do this, but what we do is we'll go in and do whatever and then say, oh, well, oh man, he didn't do it. Oh, well. And
and that's when we're subject to international law. If you go in, and here's the thing, and
we
told
break
you that
international law all the time.
No, listen, bro. Let me say this, because
we waterboarded. Hold on. We waterboarded people. You gonna tell me we didn't break international law?
Let me get this.
We arrested people and sent them to Guantanamo Bay. They don't get a fair due trial.
I said this in WhatsApp. I said this in our back conversations. I said I had a bone to pick with every fucking military leader that's out there listening to Trump and not telling him he's violating certain engagements, rules of engagement. He is violating them. And it's their charge as officers, as generals, the ones that control the masses when it comes to the military force, to say, look, I don't give a fuck if you're the president or not. That's not a lawful order, and I don't need to fucking follow it. That's up to them to do that. The people that are on the lower rank can't say that. The general that executed that, that's sitting there on that fucking podium that had that press release after the fact, should have said, against our better judgment, this is what we did for the president. And he shouldn't even have done it. Because here's the thing that you don't know about military law. If you break a rule like that, you can be prosecuted to the nth degree because you should have challenged the fucking order.
Bruh. Let me say this, because maybe you just not getting it.
Oh, I get it.
You keep saying that we're not breaking laws. Let me go through.
We
it.
are.
We did the
I
war.
know. I said we are.
We did the war of aggression. We have the treatment of detainees in Guantanamo Bay, meaning we tortured them. We brought them to Guantanamo Bay. We didn't give them a due process. They've been there for 25 years. We still haven't done anything. That's the torture part was all against the UN convention. What punishment did we go through? Not only that, I can't even talk about Trump or whomever. Obama. There was a United States citizen that was over in, I forgot what country it was, and we drone struck him. We didn't give him due process. We didn't find out if he was guilty. We didn't try to capture him. We killed him. No. We assassinated him.
Coming up again. I didn't do that.
Know. We assassinated him. Not only him, we assassinated him and his son.
Who are we talking about at this point? Because I missed something. You dropped in or I dropped out.
Oh, you said that we are held to these UN laws.
We are.
The UN will say this. What is the UN going to do? I just told you if we drone struck our American citizen and killed him. We did torture. Matter of fact, the Israel, they go over to West Bank and say, even when the United States says, look, man, you can't cross that line. When you cross that line, you're breaking international law when you set up cities and places over in the West Bank. And you know what they said? and so when you keep talking about this UN law and all this is going to do something, no, we do what we want to do. We don't care what they say.
Mm-hmm.
The Venezuelans, what we said was that boat kind of looks suspicious. We're going to blow it up. Not only are we going to blow it up, Hence said that they didn't want anybody captured and we're going to hit it again so there's no survivors.
I don't want to sound cocky, but you're right. There's certain things, even if we do wrong, who's going to tell us no, we can't? We do have one of the strongest militaries within the Western Hemisphere. I'm sorry to say, and I'm not sorry to say, I'm glad because that makes us more secure. I'm not saying you're wrong, but there are rules. And whether you want to call them shaming tactics or some other way where they start boycotting, dealing with America in certain deals, exclusionary ways. But again, we have so many leverage pin points on all these other nations. What can they really do if we decide to go amok? Now, what I'm saying is at the end of the day, our generals need to rein in Donald Trump. They need to say, no, sir, we're not going to do that.
No, because
now,
this is what
happened.
happened.
Them punk asses because here's the thing. I don't give a fuck. I've never done it while I was in the military and somebody tried to give me an order that was fucking unlawful or I didn't need to fucking do. I flew the bird at them and said, fuck you. I'm not doing it. I didn't give a fuck what they wanted to do. They held my rank back, whatever. I still got my rank and I got my back pay. So all you did was made a savings account. When you know the rules, you know the rules. Here's the thing. They're allowing him to do certain things because he can't push the button himself. He can't initiate any military to do anything just on his word. Officers and everybody has to plan that shit out. So at the end of the day, there was some planning going on in order to execute this thing. And all while this planning was going on, these officers, these generals that should have been challenging why they're actually doing this and the ramification, because we're not fucking stupid. We know if we go in to take him down for drugs, we're leaving a big gaping hole for leadership. Who's replacing him? What's going to happen on the politicals? When you play global fucking politics, it's like playing 4-dimensional chess. Okay, it's not one move. There's a move, the counter move, and what's going to be affected by this person and that person. If you ever read a top secret report, it's fucking crazy how many levels they go deep. If we do one action, what's the adverse effect and what's the positive effect and why we're doing something? Believe me, intel is in depth. So they already went through every fucking angle before they actually executed this thing.
Man,
And I'm telling you, they should have said something long time before this action extra happened.
I'm gonna try to bring. I want to play this and
Go
just
ahead.
remember what you said.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna find the other part of what this gentleman stated, and he explains exactly why it's legal and how we
I
circumvent
said
it.
it was based on the Noriega thing, but at the
I
same
don't
time,
think it's not
you
even
don't have
Noriega.
carte
I'll let
blanche.
him.
But
I'll
the
let
whole
him.
thing is, you still don't have carte blanche under that precedence because you are still going to be fact checked on the back end on the evidence through UN investigations. You just don't get to run amok through a global fucking hemisphere with your military and think there's no ramifications on a global scale. You
What I'm
can't.
telling you is what ramifications.
I get what you're saying.
What
We're
they
so
gonna do? They're gonna
powerful.
sanction us.
I have said we are wrong. I did say that. And one aspect, the aspect I'm saying we're wrong in, getting the guy out of government, no, because he is a fucking narco terrorist. He is a narco leader. It does have something to do with drugs. The point where he started to overstep his authority is when he said, we're going to revitalize a whole nother fucking area that did not have to do with drugs. Why are you talking about crude oil? Why are you talking about accessing crude oil? Why are you
But let
talking
me
about
even go back to this, Roland.
why are you allowing our government, our different companies to go down, revitalize by building infrastructure wise billions of dollars worth of equipment and going down saying, oh, we're going to give the government back. After you invest that kind of money, you're not giving shit back. That's a fucking lie.
Let me ask you a question, Ronan. Let's go with your first assessment. He's a drug cartel head of narcs.
Right.
He's not in the United States.
It doesn't matter.
Why? Why is it that we can go to another? Oh man, my thing. Why is it that we can go to another country and arrest somebody who has never come here and done drugs?
Because what they're saying is the whole idea behind the Noriega precedents is that we are not waiting for the UN sanctions to come on and try to encourage that government to stop. We need to stop that shit immediately.
We already had an embargo. What are you talking about?
But that wasn't stopping him. Maduro was still moving drugs.
But why is it that you moving drugs to where? Why is it that you?
I don't know. I don't have their intel like you. Nobody.
No, what I'm saying is, what gives you the right to go to another? It don't matter what. Look, you know what we do in our country.
We can do it, but not too many other countries can. Let's put it that way. I get what you're saying.
You dictate? Because what we said is, hold up. We said they're illegal. We said that their elections were a sham. So it's
I don't know anything about that.
No, I'm just saying. So is Putin.
Okay.
How is it that we can say you're making drugs in your country, and we want to arrest you in your country? And I don't want to read the comments, but somebody said he allowed. I want the word. He sent drugs and allowed gangs into our country. How do you allow a gang into the country? This is our country.
Listen,
we allow drugs.
I get what he's saying. Literally,
hold up, no. Nobody can give you. That's like saying I gave them drugs. I made them overdose. No, if I gave you drugs, you took the drugs. I just gave them to you. You, as the United States, allowed drugs in this country. Right. You, as the United States, allowed gangs in this country. Nobody else. You.
But here's the thing, and this is where even with Trump, that clip that you had with Trump talking, he said that this came in under Sleepy Joe's watch. What he's saying is when he opened up the floodgates and a lot of Venezuelans came into the country, it opened up that drug road into the United States. You let all these criminals in, you didn't background check them. They're all over fucking Chicago and other places. You got Venezuelan gangs running a fucking muck that you allowed in during your 4 years. So now he's saying, I got to fucking go back and fix all this shit because you allowed all these terrorists into our country. And by terrorism, not necessarily blowing up shit, but terrorism by allowing drugs and criminal activity, gangs and all that violence and controlling and threatening our citizens. That's what he means by that. He doesn't mean literally he allowed it.
What is the line? I just need to know what the line is. Meaning, what is it that somebody does in their country that we say we can come arrest you, even though you never stepped foot in our country? What is it that somebody can do?
Against the United States, it's very hard to do anything.
No,
Especially
but it's not against the United States, because we say it to anywhere. We say, "Oh, you weren't democratically elected in your country."
I mean, isn't that the whole point of why we were in Vietnam?
Yeah, but I'm saying, what gives us the right to go to anywhere and tell them?
It doesn't. But we are being asked, and one of the leverage points in this, we were asked. They tried to use the vice president saying he wanted us to come in and assist him in overthrowing this this president. There's certain leverage words that they're using in order to make the legality of them doing it tighter, aside for the Noriega presidents. They're trying to say
that's not what it is. It's not the Noriega, but I'm gonna let this dude play.
It is.
I'm gonna get the other clip for you.
Put up whatever you want.
And I'm gonna let him play. He does a good. He's still explaining.
Because that's the important part about a terrorist. They have to be driving a political agenda. Secondly, only 15% of all the cocaine at most, only 15% of the cocaine that enters the United States comes through Venezuela.
That's right.
100% of it almost is created in Colombia. But then a small fraction is sent through Venezuela and then shipped up to Puerto Rico, where it goes into the American postal system, and then it can be shipped all over the United States. A small percentage. Upwards of 90% of all cocaine goes through Mexico. So why are we focused on Venezuela? If we're trying to fight cocaine.
So when somebody said he has to go because he's the lowest of the lowest, why didn't the Mexicans go? Why didn't we go to Mexico? Why didn't we go to Peru? Why didn't we go to Colombia?
You're not supposed to be reading the chat.
Why wouldn't we focus on Mexico? Why are we focused on Venezuela? Doesn't make any sense in terms of volume. Then you start to think about other issues. One of Venezuela's top two military weapons partners are Russia and China.
Pause that. Now, remember, I told you I had a top secret clearance. I told you this is 4-dimensional chess we're talking about. He's a CIA agent. He's had access to the same intel that I've read for years when I was in. He's saying there's a what if to this if and this, that, and this is why we're not doing certain things to certain countries based on the fact that the cause and effect of us doing it. You get what I'm saying? Venezuela is a small fucking frog in this big ass pond. Okay. Venezuela, there's no ramifications if we do something to them. Now, on the inverse, if you try to fuck around with Mexico, there's a whole bunch of things that could fucking happen from that. You get what I'm saying? So that's what I mean when I said earlier about 3 to 4 dimensional chess. He's running that down and breaking it down to what ifs. Why we don't do this, but we do that. Why don't we don't? He's looking at intel. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
You got to listen to him more. Because
I'm
you ain't even on the correct page.
Okay, I'm not on the correct page. Go ahead.
China. Russia historically, China more currently. Venezuela also maintains one of the largest amphibious assault forces in all of Latin America. And guess who provided all of their amphibious assault weapons? China. So if you really want to know what an amphibious assault would look like of China against Taiwan, you want to get a look under the hood of what the amphibious assault looks like in Venezuela. What do their capabilities look like? What do the weapons look like? How would they use them? He claimed that China controlled the Panama Canal. That's not fully correct. The more correct way of saying it would be that China controlled the entrance and exit ports of the Panama Canal.
Start paying attention to this.
Listen.
I told you it wasn't about drugs. It's not about oil.
They were predominantly owned by a Hong Kong subsidiary.
Okay, real quick. Let's talk about China real quick. So, again, this is chess. What can you do to stop your queen from coming over closer to your king? You start knocking out the fringes of your pawns or their pawns before they can make that move.
Well, listen to him. That's what I'm saying. Let him go. He gonna cook it for you.
Before he says it, so I know I'm on the right page. So what he's saying is basically, if we can knock out Venezuela, even though right now China is backing them in a lot of things like their amphibious assault units and all this other fucking technology, if we can knock out Venezuela real quick and China tries to show their teeth, then the fucking gig is up on the long-term goals of what China's trying to do. That's why I'm saying there's move and counter moves. So if we hit Venezuela now, before China gets a foothold and actually is in control of what's going on there, China can't up then say, oh, I'm going to send my forces over to back up Venezuela, because then they're just giving away their fucking plans. That's what he's saying in the nutshell. China does these little sneaky moves. Even in Africa, they give these uneven fucking land deals so that they can control the rare earth materials that come out of Africa. China is very sneaky and strategic about how they do it. They're not going to be in your face. They're going to do it in a roundabout way. Venezuela is another roundabout way to get in our neighborhood and also establish some inroads to doing certain things where they have a closer reach to the United States. And by them doing the amphibious assault vehicles, all that does is give them more leverage to say, hey, we need to go ahead and knock this shit down before they establish a foothold. And now we can't do anything. So this is another reason, like you're saying, behind the drugs and the oil, why the military might be encouraged to want to do it, authorize it, and not question what the president is doing, because there is a benefit militarily on why they're doing it. Okay, go ahead.
But on the next one, I'll show you why the military can do it after he goes through this.
In March of this year, Trump demanded that Hong Kong subsidiary sell a majority stake.
And just so y'all know, remember, Trump said we spent all the money on the Panama Canal, it's ours, but we gave the lease back to Panama.
We did.
And he said, why are we doing that? He said, this should be the American canal. And this is what he's referring to.
America on everything, the Gulf.
I'm just saying, that's what Trump said.
But yeah, we did
U.S. investment
the Panama Canal and give it back to that country. We actually established a country, because Panama wasn't a country until after we took it from Colombia.
Yeah.
Company BlackRock, I believe it was. So then in August of this year, that transfer actually happened. So it was only in August 25th.
Now remember this, the transfer. Now a lot of you guys aren't political. The Panama Canal, the reason we built it is why the United States, in order for us to get to California through our ships, would have to go all the way down South America, which is real treacherous. If you ever seen the tip of South America, it's right near Antarctica. The waters are crazy. We have to go all the way down and then come all the way up just to get to the other side. We built the Panama Canal to make it easier for us to get to the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. And so what we say is, and the reason in World War II is so difficult to fight us is because we can fight on two fronts. We can fight on the Pacific front and the Atlantic front. We got both. And so that's why it became so difficult. That's why it was so strategic. And now you have places like China to say, hey, it's easier for us to come from Japan to come over through the Panama Canal to get over to all places in the Caribbean. They're using it. It's a strategic place for us and for other countries. And then we got it back. And look what happened as soon as we got it back.
5th of this year, that the Panama Canal became majoritively owned by U.S. investment firms instead of majoritively owned by Chinese investment firms. And then within 2 weeks after that date, the first drug boat was blown up off.
What happened? All of a sudden, Venezuela got drugs. No, we ain't worried about drugs no other time. As soon as we get that canal back and it's in our hands and our lease and we got control, all of a sudden now we got to take all of our boats into the Caribbean. See, we needed a reason to go to the Caribbean. It was like, what can we do to surround this? We needed a reason to start aligning that off, to start saying to China, hey, this is what we're doing. It would be ridiculous just to put our boats out there. Like, oh man, we got a whole destroyer. Venezuela is a small and no really military. And look at all the ships that we put there. We had like 10 ships out there. The destroyer, a submarine, aircraft carriers. For that? Come on now. Now you understand why we were blowing up boats that weren't really drug boats.
off the coast of Venezuela.
Really?
So I'm not saying we have smoking guns, but I'm saying we have multiple verified independent sources of information that point to the fact that our conflict in Venezuela actually isn't about Venezuela. China owns huge chunks of the Caribbean. China has massive leases on infrastructure and military bases and ports all across the Caribbean. They have rare earth mineral rights across the Caribbean. Their major shipping routes go through the Caribbean. We move all of our shit to the Caribbean just to tell the Chinese, don't forget, this is our house. And that's what we're doing here right now. We've consolidated our forces. Look how fast it happened when we were fighting Venezuela. How fast do you think it's going to happen if you mess with us? How fast can we take your Caribbean investments? How fast can we cut off your flow?
Now, remember, he said this before there was an invasion of Venezuela.
Not just to the American market, but also to all of your own rare earth minerals and all of your supply chains in the Caribbean. And oh, by the way, if you think that you're going to continue to grow influence in Latin America and South America, which it has, China's increased its partnerships all across Latin America.
Massively.
By the way,
gold corridor.
Yeah. By the way, don't forget that we're their neighbor.
He got about
it's a
15
huge
seconds.
message.
I'll just let him
It's a
roll it
huge
out.
message that was arguably effective enough to walk China off the tariff cliff that
Right.
Trump just closed with them recently.
But let me say this real quick while he's talking about all of Latin America and everything else. There's been in talks since 2013 an alternate canal that's going to be built in Nicaragua by the Chinese and assistance to. And it's indirect but deliberate, the Chinese involvement. Like I said, this is a fucking huge ass game. Nothing is ever what you think it is. When you talk about politics, geopolitics, and what's really going on behind the scenes beside the obvious. There's the obvious and then there's the unobvious. And the CIA agent is right. There's multiple different layers to everything we're doing and everything that gets done in government. It's not so fucking apparent all the time. I know you're playing something in the background. Which one do you want me to pull up next?
No, I just wanted to make sure it was the right video.
Okay. But which one did you want me to pull up?
No, this is going to be ready right there. But this is
I don't know why he's still up. What?
Crazy. Brother happy.
He's happy as fuck, but I got the people behind the podium. You want me to pull that one up?
Yeah, I'm gonna skip a little bit from the first, and he explains some of this. I'm sorry, it's a little bit dry.
Oh, no problem.
We'll do it real quick.
Yeah, exactly. Blue collar. It's like Game of Thrones. There's so many different fucking layers to geopolitics and why militaries are moving the way they move, why they choose to strike certain things and turn a blind eye to other things. And politically as well, why we choose to get involved in certain things and why we allow other countries to get involved in them, but we back up and just supervise. We use other countries to do certain things for us too.
Well, what I wanted to show you guys, it's not about drugs. It may not be about oil.
It's a good reason because Donald Trump is greedy that way. And for him to even bring it up means he's...
Oh, no, he wants the oil. He wants that oil.
It.
But the reason he wants the oil is Venezuela was trying to get a contract with China to sell them their oil. Go ahead and press play. I'm going to skip past the first few parts and then go to where he started.
Late last night, at my direction,
The whole world is talking about this operation, and people going on understand about CIA and Donald Trump's vision for the future of Venezuela. The first thing to understand is that without a doubt, this operation is going to be contested as potentially illegal. What we saw here was something called an extraordinary rendition, something we haven't seen since the global war on terror, when U.S. military forces were recruited by CIA in order to go out and capture terrorists and bring them back to the United States for trial. That's exactly what you saw happen with Nicolas Maduro. You saw the CIA use military forces to go into a sovereign country to capture not just any terrorist, but their...
You say pause it?
No, I just said
Oh.
that's a standard thing.
Actual
now.
sitting
Moving forward,
president. Even though Nicolas Maduro was not seen as the legal president of Venezuela by the United States or many other countries in the world, he was the de facto leader in that country because of the fact that he had been a sitting president for so long, and he was hand-selected for the role by the previous dictator Hugo Chavez. In the eyes of the Venezuelan people, they only had one leader. Even if they didn't like him, even if they disagreed with them, even if they didn't vote for him, the entire country was built off of an administration, a series of.
And so when somebody said he had to go because they didn't like the election, I want y'all to think back. There was an election the United States had. I think it was Al Gore and Bush, where half the country said he's not the legitimate boss. What if another country came in and said, you know what, George Bush ain't the right president. He's not the duly elected president. And we're going to
but you already know the United States, and that's one of the key things I was going to ask later. It's a do as I say, not as I do, because there's no way any United States citizen would think it would be okay for somebody to come in and unseat our elected official or a president. There's no way.
Correct.
Y'all would agree with that.
Yeah. And this is not overnight. He's going to explain how they got away with it.
Federal and government systems that were dependent on Maduro. So in Maduro's absence,
But this is what all we did, and we do it all the time. Like I said, we killed Pablo Escobar. That did not stop anything from the drugs coming inside of the United States. And he's going to explain why taking the president had nothing to do with drugs, because the whole system was built up on here. Go ahead, sir.
we can expect to see chaos across Venezuela. We can expect to see institutions fail. We can expect to see conflict in the streets. Police are going to be without leadership. The continuation of government is going to be confused and disoriented. And that's assuming the United States does not carry out any more additional strikes inside the country. All of that chaos, all of that confusion, any potential deaths, any continued conflict is all going to be tied back to this idea of an extraordinary rendition by the United States against Nicolas Maduro, the sitting president of Venezuela. Without a doubt, the Chinese, the Russians, the Iranians, the Cubans are all going to condemn the action. It's uncertain how many parts of Europe and parts of Asia are also going to respond to this because it's diplomatically sensitive. Nobody's going to want to applaud the United States for illegally going into a sovereign country and taking the sitting leader. Think about what that would mean for all the other sitting leaders around the world. But at the same time, many American allies will want to celebrate the fact that Nicolas Maduro has been taken out of his seat. Even here in the United States, you can expect that there will be legal scholars and formally assigned foreign terrorist organization, FTO status, to the Cartel de los Soles, which is the cartel associated with the government of Venezuela, is an important decision because it opened up all the laws and all the authorities of counterterrorism to operations inside Venezuela.
That's what I was trying to tell you. It wasn't about what you were saying. Once we assigned him to be a narco-terrorist, we didn't need the military.
One of the reasons that's important is because by labeling Maduro a terrorist and labeling the government a terrorist...
Pause that. Oh, you do need the military. And this
no, we didn't need to call it a war.
No, you don't have to call it a war at this point. Like I said, the Noriega president is in effect where you can use military as policing a government based on that fact. But what I'm saying is the reason, I don't know if you remember the 4 black tourists that went down into Mexico, 2 of them were shot and killed. And then the president said, yo, if you don't kick out whoever did it, we're coming in. CIA, military, everything, right? You remember how quickly they sat those 4 dudes right in front of the fucking border and say, come get them? They don't want military. This is the thing I'm trying to tell you. Let me get to the point. No cartel wants American military in their fucking bushes, beating them out of their fucking hiding places. I'm trying to tell you, they don't want that. That's why they'll give up whatever they need to quickly so that does not happen. Go ahead.
The thing is, this is what the problem that it sets across. If you remember, and this is going to take you a long time, it's going to take you way back when Trump was first elected president. I mean, the very first time, one of the people he called was Taiwan. Do y'all remember that? Tell me if you remember.
But I know, you know why though? Because China was threatening at that point to try to invade Taiwan.
No. Here's where he fucked up. And they
Who?
let him know he fucked up in 2016. And I'm going to read this.
You
Donald
say
Trump.
he. Which one? Donald
I'm
Trump
sorry.
fucked up or somebody
Donald
else?
Trump.
Okay.
Because what he did was he got elected. He said, I just got off the phone with the president of Taiwan. And China said, who you get off the phone with?
Thank you.
He said the president of Taiwan.
He
China
can't
said,
hold fucking water, bro. He can't.
no, but hold up. No, it's not that. China said, bruh, there is no president of Taiwan. Taiwan is a province of China.
Mm-mm.
He had to walk it back. He had to walk it back because that's the thing. There is from China's perception,
China's
Taiwan,
perception only. Right.
no, but the world.
No, it's not. I'm trying to tell you. There's
Why don't you look that up? Don't tell me no and not look it up.
Let me finish before you tell me to look it up.
Look it up.
There's so many reports of the Taiwanese government because the main reason China wants to walk themselves back into the ownership rights of Taiwan is because of the superconductors and all the chips that are being processed through Taiwan. Taiwan themselves, there's all kind of reports that they all trained every citizen. They will fight tooth and nail and blow up every fucking factory before Taiwan will allow China to come in and rule them as a sitting government. I'm trying to tell you that is the sitting position right now of Taiwan. So China can get mad all they want. They don't really have access to the superconductors or anything in Taiwan.
They'll just go in and, brother, they would just go in and take it over. That's why we had all our shit out there.
Every plant will be blown up and they'll have to restart.
And that's fine with them because you know what?
And they would have done it by now if they were going. If that was fine with them.
We control. The problem is all of our chips are made in Taiwan. It doesn't hurt China, brother. It don't hurt China. China get the second tier chips.
Yeah, he's not the greatest. He's not the smartest block there, Rosario.
If it looks right here, Taiwan, the official name is called the Republic of China. The state name is the Republic. I'm looking at right here. Taiwan is a liberal democratic, but it's part of the People's Republic of China. They don't play that. And that is the reason.
Talk to a Taiwanese and let them give you an answer for that. And they're going to tell you, hell, fuck no.
They're not going to say that.
Okay. Let me find a video.
Find it. That's what I want you to show. I want you to show when they had all the umbrellas trying to protest, and they said, when they had all the umbrellas trying to protest, and China was like, "Yeah, right. We don't play that." If the president of the United States has to take back him calling the president of Taiwan, and we the most powerful people, what you think? Come on now. Don't happen like that. And what I'm saying is, if we can go in, and this is what China said, hold up, you guys can go to another country and take them out for your reasons. Why can't we go to where we want to and take whoever out for our reasons?
Because they can.
Brother, they can.
Like I said,
China has over 1 billion people. If we kill 1 million people a day for 1 year, they will still have more people than us. We only got 300 million people. If we kill 1 million people a day for a year, they still have more people than us.
I get what you're saying, but a lot of those people are impoverished. They're not military.
A lot of people, we aren't military.
Oh, we're military minded though.
Okay. In numbers, man. Numbers are key.
You just don't
look. It don't matter how good of a karate person you are.
Wait. What was the famous word in World War II? Never wake up the sleeping giant. They hit Hawaii and they found out real quick. You fuck around and find out when you fuck around with Americans.
That was Japan.
It doesn't matter.
They had not. Japan is a small.
We weren't involved. Listen, we weren't involved in Europe, and we weren't involved with Japan until they fucking bombed us, and that opened up the doors for us to fucking let the floodgates out on both of them. You need to study your history.
If you want to realize it, the reason the war was won is because of Russia, bro. It was because of Russia.
Okay, you keep believing that.
You
It
think
wasn't.
you know how many people Russia
Russia
how
was
many
getting
Russians
their
died?
hands. Listen, they were getting their asses handed to them till we got in the fight.
Incorrect. You don't know your history, brother.
All right, I don't know it. I'm in.
That don't mean the military.
No.
You
I'm
think
a historian when it comes to
Peter,
that shit.
Pete, whatever his name is in the
Military history
military.
is something I love. You ain't gonna tell me Russia was kicking everybody's ass. They were not.
1 second.
They were not. Let me see if this is it. This is Al Jazeera. And I think this is legal for us to play because it's not something they would object to. So hold on.
Oh, you want to let this dude play for a second? Here, I'm gonna throw him in.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and play yours.
Reporting organization, it meant that we could use joint resources across the United States in order to carry out counterterrorism operations. That's why you see formal statements from the U.S. government saying that this was a joint operation that included law enforcement, military, and intelligence assets. Without labeling Maduro and the government of Venezuela as a narco-terrorist organization, the Trump administration wouldn't have been able to carry out operations against.
So that's what I'm telling you. The reason he's labeled something is so we can do something else.
Right. But
I know. I'm not saying it's legal.
I'm agreeing with you. Listen, I'm agreeing with you. But where Trump oversteps his bounds is when he introduces revitalizing an asset of that country when he has no authority, which is crude oil. He has no authority to go and touch that just because he took out the president.
But
That's
what you
not
were
his
saying
fucking
was, if you were in the military, you wouldn't have went because of this. This is what they do all the time. They justify
he
it.
just
with the
justified.
military.
Listen. He just gave you a reason that justified it. I just gave you a reason why Noriega presidents justifies the military acting in a police way when the CIA asked them to come join a joint venture in order to get a narco terrorist. That's why I just said that. Noriega presidents is exactly why they can do that. That's the reason why they can involve the military in policing acts in other countries to protect the U.S. assets, CIA members, and commissioning the warrant.
I'm saying I don't think it's called the I don't know.
It's look that up. Noriega precedents.
No, I know who the precedent. No, but it's still he quotes the exact law. That's what I'm saying.
And that's based off of that whole situation.
Sovereign state of Venezuela itself. Another important thing to understand when it comes to these joint operations is something called authorities or titles. The U.S. military and CIA are governed by two different sets of titles. Title 10 for the U.S. military.
That's it, Title 10. This is where he explains it.
50 for the CIA. Title 10 grants the U.S. military the operational authority to carry out military operations of an overt nature against foreign threats. Title 50 grants the CIA the ability to carry out covert operations against foreign targets. That means the military has to operate under Title 10, overt military operations, and if the military is going to carry out anything that is covert, it has to operate under Title 50, which is controlled by the CIA. This is why CIA, in order to carry out their covert operations, pulls from the U.S. military elite services like Delta Force and Navy SEALs in order to carry out their most sensitive and most tactical military strikes. Very similar to the bin Laden compound raid in May of 2011, the raid on Maduro's compound in January of 2026 also included months of preparation and planning in advance of the actual strike.
That's right. So when you guys think that this just happened just because Trump said, I'm mad, I'm getting it. Nah, brother. When they start shooting them fishing boats way back in August, they was already planning. As soon as before the ink was dry on the Panama Canal, they was already planning this. This was already getting planned.
Suggests that military Tier 1 operators were seconded by CIA under the correct title authorities in order to plan, prepare, and execute this operation. So when you start to hear people saying that this was a CIA operation or a military operation or a special operations operation, the truth is that it's all of those things together. Without a doubt, the DEA was involved. Without a doubt, the FBI was involved. Without a doubt, the state of New York was involved, because all of these organizations had to come together and work together because the U.S. government has to create a case for why they were able to render from a foreign country a valid target who was indicted.
Stop the video. Did you hear what he said? The United States has to formulate a case so that they can execute something like this in the global scale without violating whatever trust we have within the UN.
No, brother. We made up our own law. Our Title 10 and our Title 50 are our title. It's the law that we made up.
But they are dictated through what I just told you. And now I'm going to prove this to you. There is a title. Hold on. I'm going to just go ahead and share the screen. If you even Google it, it comes right up. And why it had to be set up this way.
But you're saying it like it's a law. It's like saying the Monroe document.
It's a principle. Listen, Noriega president referring to a legal. Wait, you can't see it?
No.
You see it now?
All right, yeah.
Okay. Refers to a legal principle established by the U.S. prosecution of Panama dictator Manuel Noriega, confirming the U.S. courts have jurisdiction to try foreign leaders for crimes, even if brought to the United States by force. And
all
that's
right, so let me stop there for a second.
Okay.
Stop there. That has nothing to do with international law.
Let me finish. That is international law because he was in a whole other country when we brought him to the United States.
It just said, who was it established by? Wait, stop.
Let me finish. Let me finish. The finish, it says, question legality of military action on or foreign policy decisions, treating a forcible seizure as a valid way of obtaining a defendant for trial. That's important to know. You can't ignore all that. Now, it sets a standard that leadership or leaders' foreign status or alleged human rights violations don't grant immunity from U.S. criminal law, allowing the executive branch to bring foreign officials to justice. That's what started this off. And that's
Wait, man, hold up. You good at Googling. I want you to Google this then.
Why don't you Google it and show it to me? I just had to go and Google this. Now, you want me to prove my points? I just
did.
You
didn't. Hold up. You did. All you did was prove.
What it was.
Hold up. All you did was prove this. You proved that the United States created a law so they could go there.
No.
You didn't prove. Hold up. You did not prove that this is recognized by the United Nations.
It is.
Then that's what I want you to prove.
That's what he just said with what he said that they had.
He did not say that. He did not say that.
Roll your man back about 5 to 10 seconds.
All right, let's go.
Sensitive and most tactical military strikes. Very similar to the bin Laden compound raid in May of 2011, the raid on Maduro's compound in January of 2026 also included months of preparation and planning in advance of the actual strike. This suggests that military Tier 1 operators were seconded by CIA under the correct title authorities in order to plan, prepare, and execute this operation. So when you start to hear people saying that this was a CIA operation,
under correct titles of authority, do you think that's for
the United States?
But here's the thing, bro.
I just pulled this up. You just sent me to pull it up.
Listen, let me finish. Let me finish my statement before you show what you're going to show. That's the whole reason behind rules of engagement, the Geneva Convention, the Hague, and all these other things. You have to be convincing, not for yourself, because we don't have to prove anything to us. We can do whatever the fuck we want for us. Well, we have to prove it on a global scale to everybody else why we're doing certain things. So when he says the entitlement or these entitlements or standards, it's not for us because we can execute whatever the fuck we want. It's for the global perception of why we're doing things. Okay. Go ahead, show me.
Hold up.
Show me.
It's just like we just made up a law on narcos, and we just said this is narco terrorism.
On a global perception, that has to be true.
It doesn't have to be true. We can call whoever we want. Hold up. We can call whoever we want.
So then the United States is just a bully.
Yes, that's exactly right.
I mean, you have a right to your opinion, but I don't think we're bullies.
Won't you look this up? I just looked it up.
Go ahead and pull it up.
1 second. Let me go back here. Noriega.
Sorry for the pause.
That's gonna kill me.
By the way, yeah, he did. Rosario, thank you for becoming a member. He said he also said he spoke to the president of Puerto Rico, but does that make it right? Yeah, we got a little bit of a senile situation going on. Everybody's great when Trump says it. But go ahead.
1 second. Let me go into. I didn't want to do a new chat.
Hold on, let me see if I got a video to play while you're.
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
Let me see. Cancel that. Hit that. Do I have any other videos? Hold on. Local videos on Venezuela. Oh, let's play this lady's opinion. Hold on. And then I got another guy. He's a right winger. This lady's coming out here.
You know what? Donald Trump is an international war criminal. We have failed in the United States to stop him. We are no longer the greatest country on earth. He can and must be prosecuted by The Hague. The international community is the only thing that can save us now. Maybe if some Republicans in Congress step forward and decide that he's crossed the line, but we are all in extreme danger. He has invaded another country, taken it over, and kidnapped its leader. Maduro is a bad guy, but this ain't how we do things. Yeah, I think The Hague is the answer.
All right, and let me play this other guy. He's another guy that would say he agreed with what was going on. Let's say this. They're celebrating the truth.
Okay. A terrible person community is.
I'll jump to it.
All of Venezuela, including the Latin community, is celebrating it. Isn't it something? You got to be some type of terrible person if your own people celebrating downfall. Holy Mother of God. And of course, you know, the liberals and Democrats, they probably mad right now. Oh, we mad that they celebrate. Y'all not supposed to be celebrating. You know, Democrats, oh God. I'm sure the next 24 hours, some type of liberal or Democrat gonna come out and say some random, oh my God, just thinking about what Democrats would do is giving me a damn headache. Where's my Advil?
All right, go ahead.
One day, brother. One day. You're going to start believing me, man.
Okay. What you got to show me? What you got to show me? Let's show it. Just show it up.
Where can I see? Share my screen.
Share screen, yeah.
I don't know why, bro. You always say this. But let's go. Let's see. Let's go. Well, you got to hit there.
I'm gonna hit add. Hold on.
So I'm gonna be that guy. Got to blow that up, or you can see it.
You can blow it up just a little bit. Go to your little 3 circles. Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. So the first thing I asked it was about this precedent. What is it? So I'm going. What is the Noriega precedent? So that's what I went through. And
did it agree with what I said?
No. So I'm at.
Go ahead and read what it said if it didn't agree.
I asked what it was. And then the next question is it recognized by the United Nations? What does the short answer say? No, the Noriega precedent is not. Hold up, don't, because I let you talk, and I'm showing you now.
Go ahead and finish it, because you don't know how to interpret.
It is not recognized by the United Nations. Why? And then it goes why. The United Nations has never accepted the idea that any state can invade another sovereign country to arrest its leader. Hold up. Then it goes all the way down. Why? What it said about Panama? This is what they said about Panama. They condemned the invasion. The declaration is a violation. Wait, hold up. Let me do this. It declared it what? A violation of international law. It was passed. What happened? It was blocked. They said it was wrong. It was blocked only by a veto from the United States. The UN system did not approve of the invasion. It simply prevented the punishment. It said the indictment. This is the United States, because you kept saying that this is law. This is not law. This is United States law that they tried to justify. This is not international law. I don't know why you just don't believe me. The UN does not recognize, unilateral indictments. Let me keep going by. Drug trafficking is not a legal cause. The UN treats drug trafficking as a criminal issue. You can't go into another country. I'm going through all of it. Protection of laws is narrow. The only problem is the UN is limited to its own laws, and it can't do anything about it. Panama failed the test. This is what it was. You couldn't. Criminalization of leaders is rejected. Calling a leader illegitimate or criminal erases the state sovereignty. That's what the United States tried to say. What Noriega case actually is a U.S., I'll repeat, like Dr. Umar, a U.S. unilateral doctrine, a political precedent, not a legal one, a power-based action, not a rule-based one. It has worked because the U.S. had the power, not because its law allowed it, not because law allowed it, not because law allowed it. Every time I keep saying you didn't understand. Hold up. The United States made its own
Did
law.
I say it was a Noriega law or a precedent?
You said
that. You understand the definition of a
go back
precedent?
because this is what you said. It's recognized by the United Nations. You said we can do it because the United Nations.
They don't recognize it. They don't want to acknowledge it, but they can't stop us, right? Didn't you just say the United States is a bully?
That ain't got nothing to do with it. You said that it's the law. Hold up. You just said it's the law.
It was a law. I never called it a law. I kept on saying no. I said there's a precedent. I've always used that word, and I stuttered.
No, you said it's the Noriega precedent.
Can y'all tell me in the chat, have I ever called Noriega as a law or a precedent?
You said it's the precedent.
Because I understand the difference. I said
no. The reason I looked this up, I said it's a precedent, but it's not recognized by the United States. It's not recognized by the world. What we did was illegal. You said no, it's not. I'll go
now.
Back.
What did your boy just say about Title 10 and the other one?
The United States. That's what I kept saying. The United States made this up. That's why I kept saying I put the head in and it's not sex. It's something I made up. It ain't the truth.
Go ahead. Go to your next point because you're not understanding.
I am understanding.
I never called it a law.
Oh, you didn't call it a law, but you said it was legal by the United Nations.
I said it was recognized by the United Nations. I didn't say they accepted it.
What the hell, man? Come on, bro.
Executions. Hold up. Title 10 executions.
Hold up. It is. Hold up. I just played it. You need me to hold up. Let's go back. Share my screen now, brother. Share my screen now.
Let me look up something. Hold on.
No. Share my screen. Share my screen. Come on.
Nice. Hold on.
Share my screen. No, I'm taking your words right out of your mouth. Please share my screen. Don't hold on. Share my screen. You can do that after you share my screen.
All right, I'll do that while he's doing the research.
Oh yeah, I did.
In the middle of text.
What's that?
Where is it at? What? Oh, there it is. Is this it?
No, I don't know where we at.
No, that's
you.
Yeah. I got this screen. Is that the screen you want me to share?
Nope. Hold up. Here we go.
Hit that one and bring up your new
screen. Fraud. Right here. There you go. No, I'm with you. Let me know. Is that it? No, that ain't it.
There's a guy. Who's this?
Yeah, that's right there. So let me go back. That's 1016.
Look at it. He trying to run it back.
No, I'm going. No, because it was at 1016. I'm going. Wait. Oh, okay. It said 1016. I went the wrong way. 1044. I'll just let it play from there.
The raid on Maduro's compound in January of 2026 also included months of preparation and planning in advance of the actual strike. This suggests that military Tier 1 operators were seconded by CIA under the correct title authorities in order to plan, prepare, and execute this operation. So when you start to hear people saying that this was a CIA operation...
Under correct titles of authority. Do you think that's for
the United States?
But here's the thing, bro.
I just pulled this up. You just sent me to pull it up.
Listen, let me finish. Let me finish my statement before you show what you're going to show. That's the whole reason behind rules of engagement, the Geneva Convention, the Hague, and all these other things. You have to be convincing, not for yourself, because we don't have to prove anything to us. We can do whatever the fuck we want for us. Well, we have to prove it on a global scale to everybody else why we're doing certain things. So when he says the entitlement or these entitlements or standards, it's not for us because we can execute whatever the fuck we want. It's for the global perception of why we're doing things. Okay, go ahead, show me.
Hold up.
Show me.
It's just like we just made up a law on narcos, and we just said this is narco
And
terrorism.
on a global perception, that has to be true.
It doesn't have to be true. We can call
Or we're
whoever
the
we
bullies.
want. Hold up. We
Or
can
we're
call
the bullies.
whoever we
So
want.
then the United States is just a bully. It's
Yes,
basically the same.
yes, that's exactly right.
I mean, you have a right to your opinion, but I don't think we're bullies.
Won't you look this up? I just looked it up.
Go ahead and pull it up.
1 second. Let me go
All right,
back
share your
here.
screen.
Hold
Go
up.
ahead.
No, let it go. Hold up. You ain't there. I'm gonna get your word.
I've never called it a law, though. You ain't never going to catch me.
Listen to what you
saying it was a
said.
law.
Listen to what you said. Hold up.
I never called it a law.
Some Republicans in Congress step forward.
Listen to what you said.
It's not for us because we can execute whatever the fuck we want.
Oh. 1 second. Let me go into. I didn't want to do a new chat.
Can I at
Hold
least
on,
show
let me
my?
see if I got a video to play while you're. Yeah, go ahead and do that.
Let me see. I'm gonna take this little rinky dink. You simulcasting my shit on the simulcast. Hold on, real quick. Let me get that out of the way. And I'm gonna bring up my shared screen on exactly what this brother just said about Title 10 and what actually is Title 10 and whether Title 10 is actually recognized by the UN. What does it matter if the United States has all these rules and obligations, but yet and still the UN doesn't recognize not one of them? And why I'm bringing this up is because the UN does not recognize Title 10 as being anything but something set up by the fucking United States. But we have standards in order to produce operations. Regardless of whether the UN wants to go along with it or not, we don't give a fuck about that. We care about holding ourselves to a higher standard. That's
Then
what
boom, we made up the law.
It doesn't matter. Perception is also a global thing too. So we have standards of operating procedures. And when we have standards, we have to set up certain rules of engagement within those standards. So I just asked, is UN recognizes Title 10? It's absolutely not. Okay. But what I'm going to say is, let's go back up here. What is Title 10? Okay. That he brings up so much and so loud. Title 10 of the U.S. Code is a section of federal law. Federal law means we can be prosecuted if we execute things wrong, that governs and organizes the authority of and employment of the United States Armed Forces. Okay, federal authority. When an operation is conducted under Title 10, it means the president is the commander-in-chief. Forces are operating in a federal military, not police. The mission are military operations, not civil law enforcement. So in order to get us to enact with the federal law, there's certain things that have to fall into place. Title 10 versus law enforcement. We actually are only being able to engage on war or national defense, enforcement of domestic laws. Okay, so CIA employed who? The federal government under Title 10 to utilize the military special forces to conduct an operation on foreign soil. Who do you think we were sent there to do? Not only protect these guys, but our interests. That's the only way you can get the U.S. military to operate under that kind of term. But here's the thing, even though we have our own standards operating procedure, the point that you were trying to make is the UN doesn't recognize it. Does the UN recognize Title 10 and our stringent standards in order to utilize us as a police force within our own justice system? Hell no, they don't recognize it. So what's your point?
No. What you said was this. I said what we did was illegal. And you said, no, it wasn't. You said the UN recognizes it. I said, no, they don't. I said Title 10 and Title 15.
Would it be illegal too if we're only looking at our U.S. justice system and not the UN's justification?
Because the crime didn't happen in the United States.
So you're saying it's illegal to the global perception, but it's not illegal to us?
Correct.
And you
we
say
made
you don't care about it, but you just said you don't care about the global perception.
We made up a law. We made up a law. It said this. We're allowed to go somewhere else in the country and kidnap that. We made the law up. The United Nations said You can't do that. That's against international law. And what we said was, no, this is our law. We made it up.
Here, you got somebody that's cheering for you, bro.
Because it's not cheering for me.
Our brother, I forgot, brother, you got to drop your name in the chat, please. I swear to God, I want to give you credit, and I can't read Hebrew, and I believe that's what that is, Hebrew. Super chat for 6 Isles. U.S. seizures is just a euphemism for state theft. I agree with you. Sometimes I think there's ulterior motives. Like I said, if Trump was going in just for drugs, then he would have just seized the man that was in charge of doing that and not even mention the access to, reviving crude oil in fucking Venezuela. That's greed. That's thievery. I agree with you. What do you think? You there?
I'm here.
What do you think about it?
That wasn't the argument. The argument you were saying was this was the UN says it's okay. And I'm saying
no, I never said that. I just said that listen, oh my God.
Oh man. I gotta go back and just
say, can y'all understand? And why is he not understanding?
Because I'm taking it out of your mouth.
No, but you're not listening to what is coming out of my mouth. What I said was the U.S. has a foreign perception they want to project. So we have standards of operating, saying we're within our own bounds of what we think is a standard of law abiding on a global scale. Whether you agree with it or not, we don't give a fuck. But we're going to operate in a certain
Let me help you out here.
My God.
If Israel said, our law says we can invade Pakistan or Palestine.
Yeah.
Our law says that we can set up these camps and take it out.
Didn't they just do it?
Because this is our law.
Didn't they just do it?
They did it, yes.
Okay, so did they give a fuck what the UN said?
That's not what you said. You said the UN said it's okay.
Global perception. I said we didn't give a fuck. We're going to do it anyway because the UN's not going to stop us. You just said that. What I said was we try to give a global perception that we're trying to do things on an up and up with a certain standard. We don't care that you don't agree with the standard. Nobody has to agree with our standard, but you will see that we have a certain standard of how we operate and when we forcibly do something or not. That's what I'm saying. Now, do you understand what I'm saying by saying it that way? We have to have a global perception of having a certain standard before we execute certain warrants, whether we execute in a certain country for a certain amount of reasons. Just like I told you, for the president's only whim, the Marine Corps can go in any fucking country just because he said so for 29 days. That's our edict. And you can't tell me that the Congress approved it. No, he could just say, hey, we need you to go investigate this, go into this country. That's why we have our own beans, bullets, and Band-Aids. We don't need anybody's assistance when we conduct missions as Marines. We don't need the Air Force. We don't need anybody because then it would be causing outside forces to have to be involved in one thing that we were authorized to do. We didn't ask the UN's permission to do it. We just do it.
That's what I'm saying. We made up a law so that we can do whatever we want.
Why is it made up if we control what we do?
What do you mean? Why is it made up?
We don't make up a law. We make up standards so that visibly on a global scale. Listen, even though you might say it's a law, it's a visible global standard so that other governments can't say we're out there.
What you just said
for no reason.
Not recognized by the globe, my friend. That's what we just proved.
We don't care about that. We don't
But
care.
you just said it's a global standard. It can't be a global standard. Global doesn't recognize
to the global fucking community that we're
they don't recognize it.
Sanctions and I don't
They don't
care.
recognize it.
We don't
They don't
care.
recognize it.
You can ask the boy
say
on the
global
screen.
standard,
We don't
don't
care.
recognize it.
We don't care as Americans when it comes to that.
That's what I just
operating.
That's
Listen,
not what you keep saying. I
Oh
keep
my
saying
God.
we made up the law.
I don't know.
that
Hey,
we can justify it to ourselves.
let's move on because we're gonna go round and around and we're gonna drag this out.
or a military operation or a special operations operation. The truth is that it's all of those things together. Without a doubt, the DEA was involved. Without a doubt, everybody's tongue, even though only half the people you talk to are actually asking that question. If you haven't discovered your natural paycheck from the cocaine that was being produced in Colombia and transiting through Venezuela. So you can see that Maduro has been at the game for a long time. And as he started to climb through the political hierarchy, he would backfill the positions beneath him with trusted loyalists who were also part of the Cartel de los Soles. That means that the current sitting vice president, Delcy Rodriguez, is also part of the Cartel de los Soles. And the defense minister of Venezuela, Pedrino Lopez, is
I'm just looking in the comments. I'm
also part of the Cartel de los Soles. In fact, both people have been named in formal indictments by the Department of Justice against Maduro. And the list goes on from there to senior lieutenants that are in all the different branches of the military, including the Air Force and the Navy, because those are the organizations that are relied upon in order to take the smuggled cocaine out of Venezuela and across the ocean into the United States. So the entire chain of command of Venezuela is in question. The top two people who would most likely be the continuation of government are also part of the cartel, which means they are also part of the target list for the United States. They know that, and they must recognize now that the capability of the United States to come in and carry out a covert lethal strike against any one of them is imminent. Many of the top leaders of the country could...
See, that's why we do it, because we can go in and challenge anybody we want just because.
I just said that.
No, I'm saying they don't make it legal internationally.
We don't care about legalities as much as saying that we have a global perception that we do things in the right manner.
But
we don't want your permission. We don't need your permission. Just like the brother just named off about 3 other fucking conflicts that are going on. Ain't nobody asked permission to do those things, and they don't care what the fucking UN thinks. They do what they want to do, and then they'll ask fucking permission later.
No, exactly. So
if there's any fucking problem with it at all?
No, here's exactly what I'm saying. When the other country says our law allows us to do this, what right do we have to say, no, man? Oh, okay. China writes a law that says we're allowed to murder whomever for whatever. And we say it's wrong. And international law says you can't do that.
And listen, and that's how wars are started. When we all agree or disagree against one country or 5 countries of saying that they're doing something above and beyond what we think is right.
No, wars are started when one country thinks they can do another. Because if you're a powerful country, you can do whatever you want. That's why Russia can do what they want. China can do what they want.
That's why we care about global perception more so than anybody else.
They can all do what they want. We don't care about perception.
Yes, we do. We absolutely do.
Well, if we care about perception, 190 countries voted against Israel and we still reject it.
Right.
That's not perception, man. That's what you mean we care about perception.
We already know the underlining tones.
No, but you just said we care about perception.
You don't want to talk about the small hats. We already know that they have some controlling factors when it comes to U.S. government. Sorry. That is what it is. And no, they would never turn against them.
I don't think
I think matter of fact, if you do remember during the coalition war in the original Gulf War that I happened to participate in, Israel wanted to get involved. And what did we tell the Israelis? Because of all the Muslim countries that were involved in the coalition, they can't jump in. We'll fight for them, even though they were the ones getting bombed by Saddam, because Saddam knew if he got Israel involved, the coalition would break the fuck up. That's why he was bombing specifically Israel to try to get them to want to fight back. You don't remember all that?
I don't remember Saddam bombing Israel.
Saddam was literally dropping rockets in Israel, trying to get them involved so they could break up the coalition. That was his strategy. Because if Israel got in, it would have broke up everybody else that was fighting against Saddam in the coalition. It's a fact. It's history.
Okay. I mean, that could be. But I think it was in retaliation to us trying to bomb him. He was trying to save his life at that point.
Why when you come to Americans and bomb Americans directly? Why are you bombing a whole other country that has nothing to do with the fight? Because he knows that would get them riled up to want to get involved. That's
why would you bomb Saddam Hussein when he had nothing to do with weapons of mass destruction?
Perception on stealing oil, on all the other things. Again, here's another oil-rich country that's getting involved in a whole nother fucking battle. And what is the common denominator between those two countries?
Oil.
Say it again.
Oil. Money.
Right. As long as you know.
Oh, I know. But see, when Saddam Hussein wanted to go to Kuwait, oh, we didn't like that. See, he can't steal oil from Kuwait, but we can steal oil from Venezuela.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Of course.
How many times I gotta say that?
Of course.
We do have advantages. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, we carried a big stick.
There's a reason why we police the rest of the world, and we're invited to do it.
Yeah, I think the person there said,
what person?
Is
What
right. Nobody is coming to kidnap our president. But here's what I always say. I always say this. If other countries did to us what we do to them,
oh yeah, it would be
a global war immediately.
Oh yeah, immediately.
If Trump went somewhere and someone tried to kidnap him, or they said you got a warrant against you, because who one of our presidents have like warrants, like Bush, somebody had warrants. If they did that, it would call we couldn't. It don't matter what charges. Matter of fact, Benjamin Netanyahu has charges against him. If they tried to arrest him internationally, we send in, of course, we send in something. So we can't just so that becomes the problem. I've traveled to many places, and people like Americans, they hate the government, man. They like, I like you as an American, but your government, everywhere I go, that's the thing they say, your government. It's like
but think about this. Just like Maduro just got taken, half the population is celebrating like the kid, and then half the population is revolution, revolution, revolution. Now you got the MAGAs here, and you got the Democrats and everybody else that doesn't like Trump being in office. If somebody was to come in this country, half of them would be celebrating, and half of them be like, "Oh fuck no, get your guns. We get ready to have a fucking war." Same thing. What happened here? Some people would be celebrating that Trump got, taken into another country for war crimes. And then others would be like, grab your guns. It's time for a revolution. There's hell no, they're not going to come in the United States and do that to us.
But what this does is, and I hope you guys realize, this does not make us safer. This makes a country like Iran, makes a country like Iran, makes a country like Palestine, makes those countries who would never think about having a nuclear war head say, they don't invade North Korea, they don't invade India, they don't invade Pakistan. Why not? Because they have nuclear weapons. So in order for us not to be invaded, maybe we need to get a nuclear weapon. And so when we say, hey, it's a deterrent, no.
That's a whole nother story. That is not going to happen.
And as technology gets there, man, those will get easier, more discreet, how you can make it. Or what you do is you get a group of people that say, you know what? We can just cyber attack them. And there's nothing that they can do. You get a whole bunch of people trained in cyber inside of a basement somewhere.
That's what they're doing now. Chinese do it. Russians do it. There's all kind of hackathons and cyber attacks all day long. Misinformation tactics. I mean, they did that during the elections. They still do it now. Doesn't even have to be election year. They're always sending out misinformation back.
They said the world doesn't hate the U.S. government, bro. Tell me who doesn't. What countries don't? We go to war to control the oil. When you go over to Europe, they're paying $6 and $7 a gallon for oil. We fight and go to war for that. What we do on a global basis, where we try to force other countries to our standards, they always say it. We don't like we like the American culture. We don't like the American government.
Facts.
At no place I've been that they say, oh yeah, American government, yay. Because what they say is you always interfere in our politics, You always interfere in our culture. Anything that you give us always has a string attached. There's nothing. Even Haiti. Haiti's like, bro, you set up a puppet government all the time. And when you say, hey, man, we're coming in to save you, we're trying to help you, and then you set up a puppet government, the puppet government is not for the people. When Trump said we're going to help you out and we're going to be political for Venezuela, do you think that was for the Venezuelan people? Or do you think that was for the benefit of the United States? When we went to Afghanistan, do you think we were setting up the government to benefit the Afghani people or to take the resources from them? We went to Iraq and said there's weapons of mass destruction. Were we doing that because we wanted to help the Iraqi people out? Or was it an ulterior motive? I've never seen us go places and say, man, I've never seen us go place and we leave it better than it came. We messed up Vietnam.
Oh, you said as far as a war.
Oh, no.
I mean, initially, there was 3 countries. I mean, you look at Germany's better. Japan's better. But not a lot of them after that.
Better what? Did we interfere? No, we didn't interfere. We let them do their own thing.
No, we helped build them back up.
We didn't interfere with their politics. We didn't say who they could elect.
No.
I'm saying
No.
anybody that we put a puppet government in, who is better? We did it with Haiti. We tried to do it with Iran. That's what happened in 1979 when we tried to overthrow the Shah. Who have we put a government in?
How do you put a puppet government in and then run it?
No, because when we put the puppet government in, what that means is whoever is the elected official does things to our benefit.
But I mean, think about this: the 40-year war with Iran and Iraq. We put Saddam in the power, and we had to turn around and do what?
No, we had to turn around and take him out. No, we didn't have to.
Oh yeah, we did.
Why did we have to take him out?
I believe at that point they were saying he was funding terrorism.
That was the lie. What that was the lie.
I'm not.
No, what he was saying was he said, I've never been to the United States. I don't go to the United States. Why do you want to come here?
Who's never been? He might not have, but we've sent all kind of soldiers over to the train as Republican Guard and everything else. We trained him.
He wasn't fighting us. Oh
no, he was fighting Iran. That was the whole thing about us propping up Saddam in the first place.
No, we propped up Saddam in Iran so he could fight Iraq.
No, Saddam is Iraq, and then he's fighting Iran.
Reverse.
Yes.
We fought him up, so we put in a puppet government once again to do the same thing. And so, but at what point? So, what was our reason for going into Iraq?
I can't tell you that personally, but I have.
I mean, didn't you fight in that war?
Listen. Everything has to deal with that 3-letter word. Every time.
Oil.
Every time.
I'm disagreeing with my man. I don't know that the major countries align with us. It's almost like this. Do you believe in what we're doing? Yes. And we're going to sanction you if you say no. Okay, yes.
That's called leverage.
You put a gun to anybody's head.
Leverage is used in business. Leverage is used in some things that when it comes to, that's global policy. I mean, leverage is everything.
No, I'm saying that's correct. But the person is saying they like what we do. No.
They don't? Then why is everybody trying to get in the United States if they don't like what we do?
No. Everybody tries to get to countries that are closer to them. For instance, if you're in Indonesia, you're trying to get down to Australia. You know, Canadians aren't trying to get to the United States.
You don't think Indonesians want to come to America? You think they'd rather go to Australia?
Whatever's closest to them.
You think so?
Whatever
Western civilization is closer to
wherever is closer. That's where people are trying to go.
Okay.
You don't see Canadians trying to jump down here. You like everybody trying to get
Come
to
down here.
where?
What do you mean?
You
They
don't
just
see
have freedom to come
Australians
back
saying, "Man, I
across.
can't wait to get over there."
They come here too. But I
Come
mean,
here.
they're already successful. They're successful nations. You
But
don't
they're
see a
not
lot
breaking down the
of
door to say, "Man, I'm
money.
trying to get over
No.
here."
Some do, some don't, because they don't have a desire. Their countries are functioning well.
Correct. So anybody who's
Economy,
here's the
all that's
thing.
good.
People in
The
Haiti are trying to
economy
break
sucks
down to get
when
to
the
Dominican Republic.
government sucks. That's when people want to leave.
Yeah, people in Haiti are trying to get to Dominican Republic.
Of course.
People in Venezuela are trying to get to Colombia. It's whatever is bad, you're trying to get to something better. It's not that, oh, I'm breaking into the United States. It's whatever I can get to that's better.
But globally, the perception is everybody's trying to get where.
Well, in one sense, I would too, if you're gonna give me some free rail fare and I can give me
Exactly.
a
There's no social benefits as great as the ones here that you automatically get without having to earn it in some way.
So I think in that sense,
We give it freely. Like
yeah,
suck.
I give it freely. Well, brother, we met the 3-hour mark, man. I think we did
Yeah.
good for this evening,
You
brother.
said we were going to try to keep this in 2 hours. I knew we weren't going to.
'Cause
I
I had
said,
to look something up,
did I
man.
not
I'm gonna
call it
find
3
that
hours?
spot.
I called it 3 hours. I said it's going to take 3 hours. So you good for
My
that?
wife mad at me, so I gotta go take care of her. I think I'm young. She gotta go back to work tomorrow.
My girl's getting tires on my car and she's paying. That's what I'm trying to say.
I love
You know what I'm
that.
saying? I love that
it.
too.
But I think what we proved here today, and I don't know if proved, is that when the United, and here's the perception, when the United States tells you it's raining, look up, because they might be peeing on you, man. They might be taking a piss out on you. So be careful. And and in my closing, I say this: we said that we went to Venezuela because of drugs. I think I discredited that. There's only 15% of the drugs. Mexico did it. Then I said maybe we went there for oil, which we probably did. But it might be even more than that, where the gentleman said, hey, this might be a test to get the other countries out of our Western hemisphere. You know, it's always geopolitical and we do things. So just because a country, a president, or someone tells you they're doing it for this reason, especially black people, if they telling you they're giving you a flu shot and you in Tuskegee, you might want to say, hey, bruh, that shot ain't really what I need. I'm just saying.
Yeah. You know what? There's so many layers to this story, and it's going to be onward developing. I really hope he does not want to touch and get involved with the crude oil. I hope I pray somebody tells this nincompoop, don't fuck with the oil. Just do what you said you were there for. I really hope he doesn't do some of the things he's just basically saying on the news outright. Leave the oil fields alone. Don't revive them. Don't invest billions of dollars to get the oil fields running, because all that means is you're going to start occupying that country because you're going to want your investment back in blood, basically. So you're trying to steal their natural resources. I don't agree.
I think somebody said something. I got to disagree with obstacles, man. And I'm just going to read this one because I think obstacles, maybe you're late. You should watch the first hour. It says there is no American spy operating as a mayor in any country as a spy. I think Ronan said that the Somalians are taking over Minnesota, baby. And they got a mayor, a senator, and everybody else.
Oh my God, they got all the way up to senators running this shit. And they pilfering us.
Yes. So they don't have to be a spy.
I don't know if I should open up a panel later. If you guys are interested in me opening up a panel, I wouldn't mind opening this up for I don't mind having a conversation after hours. We can do another live. I can go ahead and open up a panel and have you guys come through there. And it'll be an open panel on both either Somalia or the Venezuelan situation that's currently going on, or the Somalian fraud out of Minnesota, now Ohio. And now what we're looking at on a national scale, the breadth of how much the Somalian people as a whole have basically rigged, taking advantage of the system. You know, so if you guys are interested in that, let me know in the chat, and I will do that. But you know, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens and what develops, and maybe we'll have to do a follow up show on our predictions. So, what are you predicting, Fearless? What do you think's going to happen now that we're in there? Once we got Maduro out, we're sitting there now, twiddling our thumbs. Some greed starts to come up. The horn starts coming out. What do you think?
I think that nothing will change. I think chaos will ensue. The people are celebrating now because they think change is immediate, but change isn't coming tomorrow. The government is still the same as it was. United States has a long-term thought process to go in and get some of the oil.
But is that advisable?
Oh no, that's as an American, in one sense, we say yeah, because nobody want to pay $10. I remember when the gas was like $6, and I was
You think the gas is going to go down just because we have access to Venezuelan oil? You really think that's going to happen?
I don't think it's economically right. I think what we will do is because you watch, what is that, Lawman, Landman? You know,
Yeah.
where he said the optimal price is $60. You go down and it messes everything up, you go high. So I don't think we want to do that.
Exactly.
Just the same way what we did with Saudi Arabia is we just said, we want your oil for this price forever. I think that's what we're going to do. We don't want to control the oil. We want to control the price of the oil. So we say, we got first dibs, and we want this. We want first dibs for infinity. And because of that, now here's what we're going to do. We're going to protect you.
Oh shit, that sounds like an old mafia scheme.
But that's what we do to Saudi Arabia.
And for protection.
We said you don't have to worry about anything. We will protect you. But what we're really saying is we will protect that oil. I mean, just be honest. And because of this, I think there will be a collapse because Venezuela was still trying to supply oil to a lot of the Latina communities, Cuba, stuff like that. I see that now. I think Cuba may fall. You know, once they have automobiles, where they're going to get their gas from? I think Russia liners come over now. So I see a fall of that Cuban continent, Cuba falling. I think that a lot of the Latin American countries will do what we say, not because they want to, just because anybody who has power is always afraid to lose power. So that's what I see in the future. And I see that, yes, this was one way for us to get oil and one way for us to try to scare China.
Scare China or push them back out of the secured area that they thought they had within Venezuela?
But just to tell them we own this Western Hemisphere. But the problem is when China says, well, we own the Asian Ocean or whatever it is over there. That's the issue. And so we like to be far away from home. We like to be in Saudi and the Persian Gulf and, all of those straits over there. But, when it comes to those other places, it might be a little more difficult. So I just say the U.S. government tells us things that might not always be accurate. And I think that CIA guy said this before. They tell us that because we can't handle it. We really can't handle the truth. If they told us the truth about what they was doing, we couldn't handle it. What's your outcome? You doing something behind the scenes? You ready to roll up?
Actually, yeah, I got the link to the new live.
Go ahead and throw that in the chat. I'm going to bail out. I got to work tomorrow, man. I can't steal oil. I wish I could. I get gone, But I always did want to see Venezuela. I've been on the border, but, I was always afraid to cross over. I was like, they ain't kidnapping me. So he's got the new live in there. Make sure y'all copy that down.
Conversation. If you guys care to want to join, I have it set up for both Rumble and YouTube. I believe that is the link. I'm going to go. I set it for 11 o'clock. I don't even know what time it is there, but I'm going to go immediately live. The minute I jump out of this one, I'm jumping in that room. So you don't have to wait. You can just see my light is on and jump back in the room, and it'll be a new live, and it'll be an open panel. So come on in and let's discuss what's going on minute by minute in Venezuela, or even if you want to talk about the fraudulent shit that's going on in Minnesota and other states, because I can't even say it's isolated to Minnesota anymore. God damn it. It's all over the place.
Yeah,
the whole country is now been subject to that. What's going on there? So I'm messing around in the background with other things, so excuse me for not being so focused. But yeah, if you guys like to join that, I'm going to go ahead and go live. Other than that, we thank you so much for joining us. Like other brothers say, you can be anywhere tonight, and you guys chose to give us some of your time and listening to our conversation and our opinions, because that's all it can be, is our opinions based on our own lived experiences. Everybody has different perceptions in life based on how they were raised and what their beliefs are. So these are our beliefs, and this is the things that we have as far as our opinion and what's going on right now in those two areas.
Correct the mundo.
Other than that, like, subscribe, and hit the notification button for future lives.
That's right.
You good?
I'm good, brother. I'll see you on the other side.
So, y'all join the other live. I'm about to go live on it right now.
And we'll stay fearless, but shoot, man, it don't matter if you fearless or not. The U.S. government is still coming.
you done got browbeat to death. Now you saying fuck fearless.
Man,
it doesn't matter.
They'll get you before you get in your safe room and lock you up.
All right, fellas, we're out of here. Join me in the other room, and Fearless is going to go ahead and say goodnight. He's an old man. He's got to deal with his wife and everything, I'm not yet tied to it. And like I said, my girl's out buying car tires. It's the middle of the day. You can't beat that. When you got a woman that's going to take care of your shit and actually add and enhance to it, I ain't got no complaints right now. You know what I'm saying? Putting some big ass off-road mud tires on a fucking truck. Hey, go ahead. And a snorkel, bro. And a snorkel. So we don't get stuck up in those mountains. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I'm happy. All right. I'll see y'all on the other side. Peace.
See y'all later.